Hello and welcome to another episode of You'll Only Listen Twice. If you tuned in last season, we covered all of the James Bond movies, both official and unofficial. This season is going to be a funnier podcast than we've had before. Isn't that right, guys? We're all ready to talk about society because this season, we are talking about all the Joker movies, both official and unofficial. This is Yolt Presents Joker's Trick.
We live in a society.
I just got such a fucking pump of adrenaline, man. Joker is my spirit animal. He's the best guy ever. He's got a gun. He gets the girl. He's the best guy ever.
He knows the score.
He's the natural progression of James Bond.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so excited to cover the opposite end of the spectrum with a character we all actually like. And if you're listening, you probably like the Joker, because everyone likes the Joker. Who doesn't like the Joker?
His solo movie made $2 billion.
Yeah, I really think that if you put the Joker up for president, he would sweep every state because he covers every demographic, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
kids love him, teens love him, middle-aged white divorcees love him,
Yeah.
wine moms love him. He is the ultimate character.
I genuinely think, is there even an argument? Joker's the greatest, villain in, published history, right?
In pop culture, yeah.
There's no real debate.
I'm trying to think,
At this point, I guess so. I mean,
It's such a great idea. You have
A
Batman,
clown.
who's a guy dressed like Dracula who wants to help people. So who is his arch enemy? A guy in bright colors who's a clown, but he's evil.
It's
What?
genius. But before we get into more Joker, we should introduce ourselves.
oh, right.
You sure you want to know? The story of this podcast isn't for the faint of heart.
Okay, that's Spider-Man, you fake fan.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Well, if that was the case, my name wouldn't be Joke, because that's my name. I'm Joke.
I don't get the bit. I'm Mark?
No, my name was formerly Jake, but I killed myself. I'm Joke now.
this is lore now.
This is canon.
I wanted to say I'm not Jen anymore. I'm an idea. But I think I'm going to call myself Arthur because I think that's funnier. I'm Arthur.
You're a Fleck.
I'm Affleck.
You're a flag.
I got my Dunkin' Donuts. I'm ready to roll.
Remember when Ben Affleck got fired from being Batman and they immediately renamed the Joker to be Affleck?
I don't know what you're talking. This seems like propaganda.
Todd Phillips is such a genius.
All right, I'm confused. I guess I'm Batman. I think that's the bit. I'm Batman?
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, who cares? No one listens to this podcast.
There is. Yeah.
Imagine being like a YouTuber and you're like, I don't like James Bond because it's too long, it's too weird, and I'll start with them covering the Joker, an easy, accessible, hop-on episode. And then we're all just like, what's our names? We don't know.
Our first mission, introduce yourself. Fail.
Obviously, you didn't get the memo because the memo is there are no rules. That's rule number 1.
Rules are a product of society, and we don't like that.
I'm Batman. I symbolize society because I had a bad childhood and I have money.
Do you?
No. Oh, I got my credit card in the mail.
Well, he never leaves the cave without his bat credit card.
Bat credit card!
A bat credit card!
We should get started with our favorite part, everyone's favorite part of our podcast, which is not talking about the movie and giving context.
But before we get into that, because this ties into exactly what we're talking about today, I'd like to christen this podcast, if you will, with an acknowledgement. Are you ready to hear it?
Please.
We wish to express our gratitude to the enemies of society and crusaders against society throughout the world for their inspirational example. To them, to jokers of anarchy, jokers of pure nihilism, jokers of unadulterated chaos, jokers of the ridiculous and the bizarre, to jokers everywhere, this podcast is respectfully dedicated. If we have overlooked any sizable societies of jokers, we apologize. The hosts.
That was beautiful. We're now on an FBI watch list.
But now we're talking about Batman the movie.
Wait, no! We haven't talked about two very important things on the first episode of our podcast. Our relationship with the Joker and how the Joker came to be.
Well, my relationship with the Joker is complicated, but ultimately love him. We dated for a while, and then we broke up, and now we're like in an on and off.
All right, Jan, no spoilers for the People's Joker, which we'll get to.
Sorry. I was getting ahead of myself.
First time I ever saw the Joker. The year was 1999. My family bought me a puzzle that was of Batman the Animated Series. And in the puzzle, Batman was punching the Joker like this, and the Joker, like his fist was up, and Joker was going, ah. And I remember we had to pose in individual pictures. My dad was like, recreate the puzzle in individual pictures. So I had put myself going, ah. And I made my little sister go like the Joker. And ever since then,
you hit your sister? That was your introduction to the Joker?
The Joker goes,
Yeah, the Joker goes, That's the Joker.
So it's very fitting that you're Batman now because you punched your sister who was the Joker.
Yeah, so the Joker, you know, I'm a huge Batman fan. Love DC Comics, love Marvel Comics. Batman's always been pretty top tier, and the Joker's always been a big part of that. I stand by what I said earlier. Joker's always been one of my favorite fictional characters, next to Darth Vader and like Captain Hook. He's like one of the greatest fictional villains ever. And for a long time, until college actually, I believe there was no way to screw up the Joker. Like, he's just a perfect character. But we found a way, and we'll get to that later.
My first introduction to the Joker was one time I was in kindergarten, and I asked the teacher if I could go poo-poo, and she told me no, because someone else already has the bathroom hallway pass, and I was like, what is this? What are these rules? And there I learned about society. And then I was introduced to a seminal text of my childhood, Batman 89. And when I saw Jack Nicholson talk about society, he was so dark and serious and greedy and Prince, I just fucking lost it. And since then, well, yeah, I've always been like a Tim Burton kid, and my introduction to Batman was the Tim Burton movies. And even though I've always been more of a Batman Return kind of guy, I thought the Joker was awesome. And then I watched the animated series, and Batman's my favorite superhero, and the Joker's like my favorite guy ever. So I love the Joker.
I thought you were getting to like a point where it was like I had watched Jack Nicholson, and from watching that, I pooped. I did just as what he did,
well,
and I pooped in Jack Palance's office.
Now I shit whenever I want, and you can trace that back to Jack Nicholson inspiring me.
No, that's not true, Jan. You almost shit yourself when you got married, and you didn't want to shit yourself then.
Well, you know, Foucault said that even when we're trying to rebel against it, the prison of society still lives in our brains. So
you entered like the registry, and all that society and paperwork made you.
Yeah, it's a constant work ethic trying to get Joker pilled, and I'm still trying to get there.
It's you taking it one day at a time. Your journey of getting further Joker pilled.
That's what it's all about.
I suppose. Hi everybody. I'm producer Paul. I'm an idea or whatever.
No, you're not. You're Cesar Romero Joker.
I'm old Joker, as a great YouTuber.
You're old Joker from the 1920s.
I like how most podcasts use trailers to whet your appetite for the podcast, but this podcast uses trailers to already confuse you with impenetrable lore.
Well, we are YouTubers after all.
I mean, that's what YouTubing is all about. Is like 5 minutes of impenetrable lore, and then you get to the thing, and it's like 5 seconds long after the commercial for Dollar Shave Club.
Wait, did we get them? Do we have a sponsor? Am I actually getting
No,
paid?
Jokers don't have sponsors.
Sponsorships are part of society, Troy. We can't accept blood money.
But you guys, this city deserves a better class of podcast. We're gonna give it to them.
Yes, there's gonna be quote city, baby.
What's that from?
I just can't stop. I'm the Joker. I'm Joke.
All right, guys, I'm
Okay.
gonna call a moratorium on white guys on this podcast going, I'm the Joker. That's gonna get out of hand.
It's only been 10 minutes.
Play it out, and we're already problematic. It's more.
Uh-oh. Troy is thinking of society.
But I was going to say, I guess, I don't remember when I first encountered Mr. J, but it was definitely the toon version. The
Which toon
animated series, 95% sure. And I thought he was a pretty cool guy, pretty funny guy. But it really wasn't until later, as I matured, that I began to take his philosophy very seriously. And now he's my close personal savior and hero.
Oh, great.
And I'm very excited to explore his works.
Look at Paul Woodrow Wilson picture. Now he's wearing a purple suit and he has a big smile.
He's been painting it with Bob the Goon.
Yeah. This podcast, we're definitely going to be doing a different kind of gooning, but also the other kind.
So, my introduction to the Joker was actually, I remember this clearly. I was taping an episode of Batman the Animated Series where my parents were, and it was the episode Be a Clown, the one where Joker dresses up as a clown and tries to kill the mayor, and so the mayor's son, who wants to be a magician.
The one where the Joker dresses up as a clown.
Yeah, no, Jan, this isn't a joke. He actually did this.
That's all of them.
I'm dead serious.
We should preface this with letting our audience know that the Joker is based on a folkloric character that used to be seen in circuses called Clown.
Oh yeah, we don't have them anymore. We're gonna, after Jake talks, I want to talk about why the Joker exists, because it's a trip.
No, we'll get to that. So yes, the Joker dresses up. I mean, he's already a clown, but he dresses up as a different clown and tries to murder the mayor. And so his son, the mayor's son, wants to become a magician. So he runs away from home and joins the Joker, thinking he's a regular circus clown. But then he finds out it's the fucking Joker.
And he lives in an abandoned amusement park.
Yes, and then it ends with the Joker falling off of Batman kicks him off a roller coaster, and he is plunged down into the water with a bunch of exploding babies.
Yes. Fun fact about that episode, Jake and Jan might remember this. We took a Star Wars class in college because our degrees are a joke. Am I right? But, but we took a Star Wars class and George Lucas didn't want to come. So he sent Mark Hamill, asked Mark Hamill, how do you keep your performances as Luke Skywalker, the Joker, and the Trickster fresh? Because you've been playing these people for years. And he's like, well, it's all about the specific challenge. Like, there was this one episode of Batman the Animated Series where Joker had to pretend to be a clown in order to kidnap the mayor's son and lure him to an amusement park. So, you know, that's different from how I previously played the Joker. So that was a new set of challenges. And in my mind, I'm like, that was like the Joker's third episode, and that was like the third time you played the Joker. Were you already burnt out?
Tim Curry's voice is still
Yeah,
heard.
Tim Curry's voice is heard in that episode. Like,
But that's how I was introduced to Mr. J.
solid beginning. But speaking of beginnings, is it time to speak of the Joker and how he came to be? Ooh!
Let's get that deep lore, baby. Hit me.
All right. So, if we don't mind.
And by the way, his origin story might change as the episode goes on.
Oh, that's true.
Because he's chaos, as we all know. He's the Joker, baby.
I'm the Joker, baby.
Oh, he's so cool.
It's up to interpretation. Some say he just sprung out of the other. Others say that he's John Sunlight after a sex change. Others say that Bob Kane created him. These are all false. I'm here with the real true Joker origin. All right, so there was this guy called Batman who appeared in an art form that we used to call comic books that you could buy at a newsstand. We don't have these things anymore.
Yeah, slow down. You're already
We
losing
don't
me.
have these things anymore. But the year was 1939, late 1939, early 1940. This character called Batman had been doing pretty good and he had been around for a year. He was officially created by Bob Kane, but really he was created by Bill Finger, the writer. And they were like, this Batman's pretty cool. We just gave him a 12-year-old boy. Why don't we give him his own comic book? So who's Batman gonna fight in Batman #1? Well, Bob Kane was an artist who liked to draw, but actually he was not an artist and he did not like to draw. So he hired an assistant, some kid named Jerry Robinson, to draw for him. And Jerry Robinson was like, I'm going to draw a playing card that's like a Joker, but it's going to be a really evil looking playing card. And he brought it to work one day and he's like, look, it's like a Joker card. What if Batman fought a villain that looked like this card? And Bob Kane was like, I drew this. I did this. But then Bill Finger, who was actually working at the time as a writer on Batman, he's like, whoa, wait, that's cool. That also reminds me of this weird, creepy Joker guy on Coney Island who had a big Joker face. And oh, wait a second. Wait, here's the thing. I have these stills of Conrad Veidt from 1928's The Man Who Laughs, based off the Victor Hugo novel, where he played a character named Gwynplaine, who had a permanent smile because he had childhood trauma and he could never not smile. So he's like, you should draw him like this.
Oh my God. He's literally me.
Yeah, it's crazy. And Bill Finger was like, oh, and he should do creepy radio broadcasts like that Orson Welles guy and just be a total Joker. So, yeah, they put the Joker in Batman #1 along with some other character called Catwoman, who I'm sure will never be discussed ever again on this podcast. Another flash in the pan character.
Wasn't that when she was dressed like a furry?
No, it was before she was dressed as a furry. I have the pictures right here. She was dressed as an old lady. Wait, hold on. So the Catwoman story was a Robin solo story. They were like, who can we send this 12-year-old boy against? And it's like, this old woman. But then Batman grabs Catwoman.
That looks like Joe Biden.
But then Batman grabs Catwoman and goes, I'm going to wipe your makeup off, Papa Spank.
What?
Papa Spank?
And then, oh no, she's hot.
Oh my God. Okay, so it literally says Papa Spank.
Yeah, that was
That's
Batman's
not Troy
catchphrase at the time.
going off book.
Wait, so Joe Biden had makeup on and actually he was a beautiful woman?
Yeah, Batman has been banging Joe Biden this whole time.
Yeah, so then Batman's like, she's so hot. But then, wait, where's the pimp? Yeah, so, so they have Catwoman. But then she jumps out and Robin tries to go after her, but then Batman grabs Robin's leg and is like, hold on, she's hot, young man. We don't go after hot people.
What does this have to do with the Joker?
So the Joker. So back then, comic books had multiple stories and they cost a nickel. So the Joker appeared in 2 stories where he kept killing people over the radio. But then at the end of Batman #1, Joker got stabbed. And they killed him off.
What?
Yeah, then they killed the Joker. And their editor, Whitney Ellsworth, he's like, what are you doing? You just created the Joker. You can't kill the Joker just like that.
No, who wrote this shit?
They had to add this panel of this doctor going, I can't believe it. He survived being stabbed in the heart. He's coming back. But no, and then in Batman #2, which I don't have in my possession, but I read it before this podcast, Batman was going to get Joker lobotomized, but then Catwoman broke him out. So the weird thing about Batman and the Joker is most characters take a while to become their iconic selves. But these two were pretty much like, we did it. We figured it out. First try.
And before long, these characters were adapted for the screen, were they not?
Yeah, there's poster art from the 1943 serial where Joker's the villain, but then the producers was like, you know what would age better than the Joker? A racist Japanese stereotype.
Uh-oh.
Possibly like the most horrible scene in a Joker movie, and that's including the Todd Phillips Joker movie. The introduction to Dr. Daka.
This was part of a foreign land transplanted bodily to America and known as Little Tokyo, since a wise government rounded up the shifty-eyed Japs.
Whoa, hey.
But he lives in an amusement park. I will say this for the 1943 Batman serial. Amazing layers. Like Dr. Daka, he lives in like a tunnel of love with monsters. and like crocodiles. And it's very Joker, like the Joker could have totally lived there.
Yes. And he dresses like the Joker, too.
And he does dress like the Joker. It's just instead of white face, he's in yellow face.
That is so messed up because, as we all know, the Joker is a based anti-racist, and he would never stand for
That's
this.
actually true. In the Batman Captain America crossover, Joker and the Red Skull team up, but then the Joker finds out the Red Skull is a Nazi, and he's like, how dare you? I don't work for fascists. And then they both poison each other at the same time, but their poisons are so similar, they're immune. And then Batman and Captain America punch him.
Whoa. Okay, so after that, so when was the actual Joker on screen?
Well, that's 20 years later when...
Okay.
If you'll remember, that 1943 serial and its 1949 sequel became very popular at college campuses during the 1960s.
Yes. Well, it became popular because I think someone saw a print of it at the Playboy Mansion, and then they were like, this is such a hit at the mansion, we should re-release this and do a whole marathon of them and call it An Evening with Batman and Robin. And this was a huge success. So 20th Century Fox was like, we should buy the rights to Batman and we should figure out how to make a show based on it. And I think they were going to go with a different producer at one point, but then Bill Dozier comes in.
Yeah.
And Bill Dozier is like, I'll take care of this. And he reads through a couple Batman comics and he's just like, this is the stupidest shit I have ever read. The only way to make this plausible is to make it so ridiculous that it convinces people that this is camp and kids will like it no matter what because of the bright colors and the heroes and shit.
To be fair, that was the main reason why people liked watching the old serials, was to make fun of them and view it as camp, which was an emerging art movement at the time where you would take, in society, you would take
No, we don't say that word here. This is a safe space.
No, you would take like things of the culture, like Marilyn Monroe or a Campbell's soup can, and you would make it like art. Like Andy Warhol.
You would grab a banana and sell it for millions of dollars.
Well, it's funny because Andy Warhol, did he make his Batman? This might technically be lost media, or at least it's very hard to like watch. Did Andy Warhol make his Batman movie before the 60s show or after it had already?
I think after.
I almost thought like it got shut down because they were doing the show at the same time and they're like, no, compete.
But so the TV show is more so a parody of the comic books?
It's both a parody and a straight adaptation of what Bill Dozier saw, whatever comics he saw.
Which is dumb kids shit.
Well, no, but what's cool about the 60s show, and I think real Batman fans, for a long time, Batman fans resented the 1966.
No, Joker fans.
We're getting there, Jan. We're getting there. We have to get past Batman and to the true hero. Okay, go on, Troy.
And to the Joker. But I think a lot of Batman fans, they resented the 60s show because they're like, it's not an accurate adaptation of Batman. It's light, it's goofy, it's not dark. To which I respond, one, have you read the comics published up to 1966? And two, have you seen the show? Because the irony is, it's kind of a parody, but it's a parody because they took the actual comics and played it completely straight. The Riddler's first appearance is an adaptation of the first Batman comic William Dozier read. The Joker's first appearance is an adaptation of the Joker's utility belt from Batman issue 73. Like, that's the whole joke of the Batman show, is they're like, how do you take this seriously by just adapting it verbatim? Like, it's arguably to this day the most, I'm going to say it, it's the most faithful adaptation of Batman as he existed up to that point in time.
Touched an important thing that we should talk about, which is that the Batman 66 show fucking slaps. It is one of the best fucking things ever.
It is so funny.
Okay, riddle me this, Jake, or joke me this.
Sure.
The show started airing in 66?
Yes, it was actually... So they filmed the pilot, which was the Riddler 2-part episode, because That's the thing. The first 2 seasons, Batman was split into 2 episodes.
Well, yeah, that comes from the tune in into the next.
Yeah, it's from the serials. They wanted to adapt that. Apparently, when they showed it to test audiences, it apparently was like the lowest scoring show they'd ever gotten. But ABC was really desperate who had picked up the show. And so they were like, well, we'll premiere it in January, which they called the second season era of, broadcasting, because, how television is broken up into seasons. So they premiered it in January, basically as like a garbage dump, but they promoted the hell out of it. And they're like, let's just see how this rolls. The 2-part episode ended up scoring super, super high in the ratings. Everybody watched it, and then people kind of got onto it. And
The pilot, you mean?
The pilot, exactly.
Okay, and it was produced by Fox, but what channel did it air on?
It aired on ABC, which was struggling to find a successful show to compete with the other networks at that time. So they desperately needed a hit. When they were in production with the show, Bill Dozier came up with the idea like, hey, in order to sell this show, what if we produced a feature film first, and we'll use that to pitch that to networks to get a show based on that? And Fox is like, you're fucking crazy. We can't do that. But then they're like, okay, fine, we'll do that. So that was the initial intent, and they cast Adam West. They cast Burt Ward.
Yay.
And they were going to do that, but then they're like, oh, wait, never mind. ABC is desperate for a show. We got the show deal. We don't need the movie for now. We'll do the movie later.
Later that year.
Later that year.
Pretty much this has to be like one of the best movie adaptations of a TV show, right? In terms of like how good it turned out and like how faithful it is to the TV show, and also like how it doesn't just feel like an extended episode because it's like all of the villains like coming together in this one.
Well, here's the thing is that it still feels like the TV show because it is like the movie is kind of split into segments, but it still works on its own thing, and it's a good starting off point for people who haven't even seen the TV show. They're just like, okay, do you want to get like the gist of what the 66 show was like? And that's basically like a truncated version. It's like, okay, this is the vibe, basically. Which they even use like the same like second unit canned shots in the movie than, with the Batmobile and Robin going like, atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed, and then Batman going like, Roger, ready to move out.
Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed.
Roger, ready to move out.
And then the same shot of the Batmobile going out. Like, it's even like the same shit that they shot for the show. So it's kind of a perfect encapsulation of the show. Yeah, you don't really need anything else going into it. It's there on arrival, take it or leave it kind of thing. Which is interesting to see, like, in the like devoid of the context of the show being that big in the 60s. Because I didn't even watch the show before watching the movie. I watched the movie first. Because the very first time I saw this, I remember because my best friend at the time was like, do you want to watch Batman? I'm like, oh, I got the Batman movie to show you. And I showed him the Tim Burton Batman movie. And he was just like, wait a second, what is this rated? I'm like, oh, it's PG-13. And he's like, I can't watch PG-13 movies. My mom won't let me. I thought we were going to watch another Batman movie. I'm like, what other Batman movie? And so when I go over to his house the next time.
The year is what, 2000 and something?
This is like 2001 maybe?
And they're like, there's only one Batman movie. Of course.
Yeah, no, exactly.
No,
there's
this
only
is the one Batman movie.
And we're both arguing going like, no, I thought this is scary, this Batman. Batman's supposed to be funny and like, light. And I'm like, okay. Well, he shows me the cover and it's the 1994 clamshell box case of Batman the movie. And it's got Adam West and Burt Ward like jumping in front of like a generic picture of a city. And it's like, Batman the movie. I'm like, what the hell is this? This looks nothing like Batman and Robin.
This isn't Batman. This is some pussy shit.
And so we turn it on. And then I distinctly remember when Batman gets dipped into the water and his leg is being bitten by a shark.
Iconic moment.
And I am just completely like, what the fuck is going on here? What the hell is this thing that I'm watching? Like, this is Batman, and then they have a can of shark repellent bat spray, and I'm like, what? And he sprays the shark and the shark falls in the water and blows up. And I'm like, this isn't Batman. What is this shit?
Oh, but it is, and we'll talk about it in full now. To me, there's like a trinity of incredible movies based on TV shows, and it's Twin Peaks Fire Walk With Me, the SpongeBob movie, and this shit.
I'm sorry, did you just exclude Batman Mask of the Phantasm?
Not as good as this.
We're gonna kill you with hammers, bro.
How dare you?
Whoa.
Well, the Joker's only in that one for like 3 minutes. How can
He's in it more than he is in this one.
Yeah, but in this one, you feel his presence.
Joker's pretty beta in this movie.
Well, yes,
There, I
but
said
let's
it.
talk
I
about
am
that.
fucking out of here.
Wait. Yeah, but wait, let's get into the casting of the show and how that carried over to the movie. So Adam West and Burt Ward are Batman and Robin. They beat out Lyle Wagner, and they're playing the characters very straight. They were no-name actors. So the idea was that everyone else, especially the villains, were going to be celebrities, Hollywood stars. So they tried to get big names. They famously tried to get Spencer Tracy to play the Penguin, but he only said he would play the Penguin if in his episode he got to kill Batman and he stayed dead. So
In a show called Batman.
Did he have a phobia for Batman?
no, he just didn't like losing.
He was like Vin Diesel. He couldn't lose a fight
Yes.
in a movie.
That's why in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, the racist win at the end.
Well, that's ironic because Batman 66 aired in 1966 and Spencer Tracy died in early 1967, so the show outlived him. So I guess Batman got the last laugh. Ha ha.
He got the last penguin quack.
It's interesting that you say lifespan because everybody goes like, the show is the definition of a fad. Like, it premiered super strong, and within 3 years, it was canceled and it was gone.
I mean, yes, but were shows in the 60s really that long? I feel like it was more during the 80s when soap opera started that they started going for
Like TV in general, it's either a few month fad or it's like 30 years. You
Yes.
know, it's
Yeah.
one or the other.
That's how it's measured. But yeah, it is funny to look at Batman's 3-season run with like 68 episodes and then look at like the most successful Netflix show, which would be Desperate for something that long.
Yeah.
Ironically, not to skip to the end here, but the show, when ABC canceled it after season 3, CBS renewed it, but only because they thought the sets were all still built. But the set, like the Batcave, had already been torn down. So they were like, never mind.
Aw.
So it could have kept going. It was still successful enough that it could have gone on a little longer. But part of what made it such a success were the villainous guest stars.
Or the people popping out the window.
And people popping
like
out the
Sammy Davis
window.
Jr.
Yeah, like Saturday Night
Yeah,
Live.
like Sammy Davis Jr. or Hogan's Heroes or Green Hornet and Kato, Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee, yeah.
Lurch
Yeah.
from the Addams Family.
Yeah.
What is absolutely insane to me is that fucking Otto Preminger was one of the Mr. Freezes.
No, the Mr. Freezes are crazy.
It's stacked.
It's George
Yeah.
Sanders
George Sanders, Otto Preminger,
Eli Wallach.
and Eli Wallach. That's right.
and Eli Wallach. It's like, what? Like, the talent was staggering.
It's like if Orson Welles played Le Chiffre in like a really bad 60s Casino Royale spoof at the exact same time.
Yeah.
It is really funny when Frank Gorshin is the Riddler, and then in season 2, all of a sudden it's John Aston.
I thought it was season 3, the last season, where they weren't willing to pay Frank Gorshin.
I don't know, but whenever it's John Aston, because it just looks like he walked off the set of the Addams Family.
He looks the same as Gomez. Yeah.
Gomez is now the Riddler.
From what I remember, the Riddler now smokes a cigar.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, but he's wearing the same tights. And we'll talk about the Riddler, but before we get off this topic of John Aston, it's crazy that dude is still alive.
Well,
Hopefully
that doesn't change in the next few weeks.
But like him, Burt Ward, and Julie Newmar are like the only ones left. And it's so funny. Julie Newmar was like shooting Catwoman episodes, and she's like, oh yeah, I got a movie shooting soon. And they're like, well, then we don't need you for the movie. And she's like, what movie?
Aw.
And then she got recasted.
Well, they keep saying, wait, what movie was she supposed to do?
It was like Monsieur Lecoq.
What?
It
And
was not Monsieur
it seems that
Lecoq.
John Aston really did become the Riddler, because when someone asked him for his reaction for the Lord of the Rings, because Sean Astin, his son, is in them, he gave a very riddled answer. They said, "Did you like the movie?" And he answered with, "I love my son."
Which is weird, because that's not even his son. Am I right?
That's true.
That's true. It's his stepson.
It is true. And it's funny, in the audio commentary, Burt Ward keeps insisting that Julie Newmar didn't show up in the movie because she was shooting McKenna's Gold.
Oh, maybe that was it. It wasn't Lecoq.
But here's the thing that doesn't make any sense, because McKenna's Gold was released in 1969. They shot the movie in spring 1966. It was released later that year.
Yeah.
There's no fucking way that McKenna's Gold was in the I looked it up, and
Maybe it was in post-production hell.
no, it wasn't. I think they started shooting it, and casting was announced in February 1967, so the timelines don't add up. So basically what I'm trying to say is Burt Ward, you're fucking liar. No, I'm just kidding.
Give him a break. They were pumping him with estrogen to make his penis smaller.
The Wikipedia page for this movie also claims Julie Newmar didn't make this movie because of a back injury. And considering the fact that Julie Newmar came back for season 2, but then got recast with Eartha Kitt in season 3, I think maybe the producers just didn't like her.
That's possible.
I'm gonna make a wild crack here that it happened
Eartha
twice.
Kitt was born to be Catwoman. She sounds like a cat.
I'm gonna make a hot take. Lee Meriwether is like my favorite Catwoman ever. Like,
Oh, that's fair. She's good in it.
yeah, she's great.
I like all of the Catwomans. My hot take was gonna be in the Nostalgia Critic review of the movie Catwoman, Malcolm's performance as Eartha Kitt Catwoman rivals that of Eartha Kitt.
Oh my god. No.
Go look it up.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh,
One
yeah.
of us could be the definitive Catwoman.
Aren't you dead?
Jan, I'm getting a phone call from heaven. Eartha Kitt said drop dead.
Oh. Okay, but no, we have yet to talk about the subject of this podcast.
Paul raises a good point. We should talk about the man of the hour. The first man to bravely go, "Wah!"
Drum roll, please.
Yes.
Yes, Cesar Romero as the Joker.
Cesar Romero.
You know, we joke today about Mexican Joker, but the very first was Cuban. So,
Yes.
not different, but, you know.
Mexican Joker is just top cat.
But yeah, Cesar Romero, what was his real name? Not his Joker name.
Cesar Romero.
No, I thought that was a stage name.
His real name was Cesar Julio Romero Jr.
Aha, the truth comes out.
So,
Oh, yeah.
But he was born in New York City. His mother was said to be the biological daughter of Jose Marti Perez.
that is fucking insane that he's the grandson of Jose Marti. Which just goes us to show Joker is following the tradition of national liberation. He is based and red-pilled.
Cesar Romero, he was, I wouldn't call him an A-list movie star in the 30s and 40s, but, you know, he was known. He was a Latin lover. He was in The Thin Man. He got biggest at 20th Century Fox, where he was in Shirley Temple movies. He was in musicals. He was in Lubitsch films like The Lady in Ermine, which is very good. And he was the captain in Castile. And he was in a bunch of movies.
He was in the original Ocean's 11, which is not a
Yes.
great movie, but he's in it and he's fun.
He's also in the Computer Wore Tennis Shoes with Kurt Russell.
Yes, he was in a lot of movies as a side character because people like to nickname him Butch because he was not. There was a very open secret about Cesar Romero at the time, which was that he was a Republican. He helped all his Republican friends get elected, And he campaigned vigorously for the Republican cause, which was ironic because he was probably a deeply closeted gay man.
You're killing your grandfather, Cesar. You're killing your grandfather.
I know, that's we're all like, yay, based Cuban Marxist, notorious Republican.
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
Voting against his own interests.
So he was all for society, unlike the Joker.
Yeah, and his only outlet, he was a Republican, and the only way he could embrace being gay was to be the Joker.
Listen, he's playing the system against itself. That's what the Joker do.
It really is. I think
That was the first Joker's trick, was the Cuban Joker getting into Reagan's parties and, you know.
getting into Reagan's parties. It is funny to think that if the Joker, some might say the Joker was an actual political figure. As we all remember from the comics, the Joker's politics are that he is the official ambassador for the Ayatollah in Iran.
Wait, what?
That's not a joke. That's canon.
Just like Pedro Armendáriz in License to Kill.
Read comics. They're fun. Yeah, so Cesar Romero, he was a Latin lover known for his good looks and his distinctive mustache.
Why are you talking about his mustache?
We all know the Joker doesn't have a mustache, Troy.
Yeah, no. Are you trying to say that they painted the clown face over his mustache? That's not Joker. Who would do that?
I actually only realized kind of recently that he had a mustache.
No, there's major landmarks in a young man's life or woman's. Your first crush, your first car, and when you figure out that Cesar Romero's Joker has a mustache.
But it is one of those things that you don't realize it's there until someone tells you. And then when someone tells you can't unsee it.
Yeah, but that's how good his Joker is.
Yeah.
That he immerses so fully into Joker, you don't even see the mustache.
That his mustache disappears. A mustache man is able to play a man without a mustache. That is the sign of a true actor.
What a sign. Though I was going to say, this starts getting into the debate that I think will hang over this episode is Cesar Romero, he is the first Joker, but is he a high-effort Joker?
I would definitely say he's a high-effort Joker. The question is, actually, is he Alpha Joker, Beta Joker? And he's definitely Beta Joker.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. He fits perfectly with this type of movie.
No, he fits perfectly.
This is nothing about him as an actor or him as the Joker. It's just that Penguin and Catwoman and Riddler are a lot more aggressive with their plans. The Joker is there to bring Commodore Schmidlab tea.
Your tea, Commodore Schmidlab.
The Riddler is more Joker than the Joker in this.
Before we get into the movie, I don't know if Jan and Paul did this, but apparently me and Jake, watching the movie, we got curious and we went and we watched the Joker's first appearance in the show. It's the third story in the show after Riddler and Penguin. They do the Joker.
Where you see the Joker's tan hands, his skin.
Oh, yeah. The first time you see the Joker, he's playing baseball in penitentiary, and he's wearing an unbuttoned shirt. And you see his
with no
chest.
makeup underneath.
Yeah. The makeup stops at his neck.
And his hands have no traces of white on them.
Yeah.
No, it's a very trashy Diamonds Are Forever coded Joker where he's just showing us his fucking disgusting hair chest.
It's very much your trashy Uncle Joker. But watching him in that episode, he was like, I kind of see where the problem is. He's good in the episode. Like, he's a solid villain. But, like, it mainly it's an adaptation of the comic where he makes his own utility belt to beat Batman, and Batman's thrown for a loop, and the 8-year-olds of Gotham are thrown for a loop. But, like, he's leaving riddles. He has henchmen named after, like, Laurel and Hardy, but they're not.
They're all comedians.
Yeah, they're all comedians, but they're not dressed as the comedians. They're just guys.
But they appear from behind the busts of the comedians he's talking about.
Yeah, so you're all hyped.
You
think they're actually going to look like W.C. Fields, but then it's just like a guy.
I mean, that's part of sort of the low effort charm of the show. It's all these villains, the Joker, Mr. Freeze and everything, but at the end of the day, they're all just like generic bad guys that happen to have like a gimmick, but they don't really use that gimmick that much.
No, here's my issue with especially the Joker. I disagree. I think a lot of other villains like Penguin, Bookworm, Catwoman, King Tut. A lot of other villains were distinct. The issue with the Joker watching the episodes is that they did the Riddler first, and Frank Gorshin knocked it out of the park. But the Riddler and Joker are very similar. So if you have a Riddler who's like knocking it out of the park, you're kind of like, okay, here's another Riddler. And this becomes more apparent. Well, we'll get into the movie now. This becomes more apparent when you have the Riddler and the Joker like working together.
Yes, perhaps my qualm is that the movie it's a team up of all the villains. It's the
main
super
four.
team of the villains, but really it's about Catwoman and Penguin and Batman.
Wait, what about Riddler?
It's about everyone except the Joker.
He comes up with plans, but but Penguin is in charge.
What?
Well, Riddler technically orchestrates the plan.
Yeah, but
that,
like Riddler, like he comes up with the plans, but he has like no interaction with Batman, basically.
He has interaction with Bruce Wayne.
he fires a Polaris
he pushes
missile
a
at
button.
them
Okay.
by accident. No, but the thing is by accident.
But Paul, and this again speaks to how we're going to analyze the performances here. So yes, Penguin has an entire 20-minute segment that's just Penguin because Burgess and Meredith like cost the most. Catwoman, she has her own subplot of trying to have sex with Batman, and I do want to talk about this subplot because I think it's genius. Riddler.
I actually agree with you, Troy.
You know, I'm laughing because it's so true.
But Riddler and Joker. So you're right. Riddler and Joker do not have dedicated solo sequences one-on-one with Batman like Penguin and Catwoman. However, Frank Gorshin, when he's like, I have a plan to kill Batman, we bring a millionaire here. Like Frank Gorshin milks everything to like within an inch of its life.
We shall spring them from the Joker's Jack in the Box, through that window, out over the sea, and into the waiting arms of the Penguin's exploding octopus.
Well, yes, and we should mention the main Joker problem with this is that the Riddler is saying things and laughing a lot, and the Joker's always like, shut up. And it's like
the Joker is like a Democrat in a vulnerable red district hanging out with Joe Biden. They're like, shut up. You should quit.
Will you shut up, man?
And then we're like, no, we won't quit.
And then all he does is bring tea.
Your tea, Commodore Smidland.
That's basically what it amounts
which
to.
Which is a great scene.
It is a great scene.
It is a great scene. But like when you look at it, if you Google Cesar Romero Joker, there's this still of him, a close-up where he looks completely psychotic, and in context, that's him bringing tea to Commodore Schmidlab, and Commodore Schmidlab going, you look a little sick.
Yeah.
That's my face, yes.
It's just him listening to Commodore Schmidlab go like, oh, I really want to get to Gotham to sell my invention. And the Joker is just like, okay.
But I love that they have the decency to like make this guy believe he's still at sea. Like they put a projection on the wall. Like,
there's a pirate with a small bicycle
and he has a
contraption.
flipper, and he's making wave sounds, and he's blowing into the foghorn.
just all those touches, and like when the villains like put the masks so that no one would recognize him. Like, I love this movie.
Yeah, the Joker wears a mask, but what's even funnier is that the first time going back to Schmidlab, the first time we're introduced to Schmidlab, he's like sticking his head out of the window and smelling the ocean air.
And he's in a warehouse.
And he's just in a warehouse with a dirty, smelly pirate, like with a kiddie pool.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Do we need to get into the...
Should we start doing the plot of Batman, the movie, the first ever superhero movie, live action, based off a comic book that was a feature film and not a series.
And it's a banger.
Actually, that is where you are wrong. Superman and the Mole Man.
That is 58 minutes, and it is a pilot.
It was still a feature film that was released theatrically, so
it's open to debate, but I will concede this.
But we could consider this a landmark case, if you will, in the cancer that is superhero films.
And when the film opens with dedicated to fun lovers everywhere, we're already in masterpiece territory.
Oh yeah, no, the credits are genuinely like beautiful.
It turns into a Jacques Cocteau movie where it's just like please just enjoy yourselves.
You're right. It is Beauty and the
Yeah.
Beast. It is La Belle et la Bête. Except
Yeah,
it's
just
Batman.
like please do not criticize the movie that's for babies.
Yeah.
They warned us. Don't form an ideology. It's like George Washington's address. You know?
Yeah.
Don't get too invested.
And it
in
just
this.
says, let yourself go from the cage of society, the Joker, and then the movie starts.
Yeah, and then that's when the neon lighting starts, and everyone
It's such
looks.
a great opening sequence, but the first time I saw it did throw me off because the Batman theme song is so iconic, and this doesn't start with the Batman theme song.
No, it doesn't.
It starts with something similar.
Well, the
but
first couple notes of it are kind of a riff on the theme song, and then it goes
Yeah.
into its own weird thing. But it's still the same composer of the show, Nelson Riddle.
Yeah, but Nelson Riddle did not write the theme song. It's kind of like a Shirley Walker, Danny Elfman situation.
Can I tell you, when I was in elementary school, a friend told me that the Batman song was written and performed by the Beatles. So only until recently I thought that was the Beatles singing Batman. Then I discovered that he was probably thinking about Taxman. But it's still fun to think.
Oh, fun observation for the Batman theme song. The Joker is one of the only two villains to appear in the theme song that is like an actual named comic book villain. I think it's maybe Penguin and definitely the Joker.
Definitely Penguin shows up.
So should we establish this from the start? Is it the Joker or Joker?
I call him the Joker.
He's the Joker.
Yeah.
That's Todd Phillips' revisionism, right? Of can you introduce me as Joker?
Yeah,
Because
it's
he's just
the
a Joker in that movie.
Yeah, he's not,
the
the Joker.
Joker.
The Joker. Joker is not a proper name.
Okay, here we go. Here is the evidence from Bill Finger himself.
Yes.
The Joker.
There we go.
Though, to be fair, Batman was introduced as the Bat Dash Man.
Yes, but this Batman is an interpretation of the Batman.
The Batman.
He's merely an idea.
So that's the thing. Joker, we can debate his beta-ness. I will say it's a promising start. On the one hand, our Joker, he's on screen. I clocked it 1 minute, 24 seconds into the film. I will be clocking this.
Wait, are you counting the credits?
Yes. His spoken scenes, I think I clocked it. It's it's under it's about almost around 15 minutes. Yeah, a little under.
He actually is higher build.
He's billed under Catwoman.
So he is higher build than the Penguin and the Riddler.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a win for us as Joker fans.
Can I also mention something?
No.
So everybody is unceremoniously there's a light on them. Like when we first see Batman, he just is like, and then he just walks away.
It's so funny.
And then everyone else is doing a thing, like a dance or a pose. Batman just kind of walks away. And then most of it is a guy being chased, but we're not sure if it's Batman and Robin chasing him, because the only time we see Batman after that is he accidentally bumps his back against Robin and the guy's just still running. And then they never catch him.
The irony is that guy who's running, that's the guy wearing the hat in the James Bond opening gun logo. Same guy.
Wait, Bob Simmons?
No, I'm making up a story.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just a joke.
Joke's on you!
You're pulling a joke on us.
That's very un-Batman of you.
Psych, I'm the Batman who laughs. I'm Bat Joker.
Yeah. This is perhaps slightly, I won't say ominous, but as a Joker fan, you may be miffed somewhat in this opening credit sequence. Joker is billed under Catwoman, and it's a very jokey film, and Joker is funny. But everyone else is being funny too, and it really it's the Joker's job to make the jokes. I'm just saying.
That's kind of the issue, but we'll get into it as we go through the movie. But one thing I appreciate about this movie, you pretty much have a pretty clear idea of what the story is in the first 12 minutes, which is pretty impressive considering how often the story changes in the movie.
Well, it's still structured as if it's 4 different episodes of the TV series.
Yeah, it's 4 different episodes of the show.
And perhaps this is the time to mention the screenwriter of this film, we've encountered his work before.
Yes.
Yeah, boy!
Oh, boy. Our boy, Lorenzo Semple Jr., he was cooking.
But this is his masterpiece. This
is
and
his
Flash Gordon.
stone cold masterpiece.
I think this is better than the Parallax View, correct?
Yes, I would agree as well. Guys, he wrote this script in 10 days.
And it's one of the great...
One of the great American screenplays. For some reason, Lorenzo Semple Jr. gives me the vibe that he can very effectively write a lazy movie about a psychopath going through a midlife crisis.
You're right. He did write Barbarella.
Well, I was gonna say Never Again.
That too. He has a type.
Well, I will say there's definitely a contrast between the razor sharp wit of this film and Sean Connery being like, I can pee more because I'm rock hard, like this. There was a bit of an evolution.
It's the domino effect meme.
Well, it's an evolution for us because we watched Never Say Never Again first, but it's technically a de-evolution.
It's a devolution.
Yeah. So
we're reverse engineering how we got to the rock hard penis.
Yeah. Where did it start?
The issue with Lorenzo Semple Jr.'s writing is I think it works better when he's pretending to be sincere. Like, I think this and Flash Gordon are very funny. And Barbarella, I believe he did write that. They're funniest when they're playing it straight. Never Say Never Again is intentionally trying to be more winkier than the Eon films. So it doesn't work.
Well, it also doesn't help that the additional writers in Never Say Never Again were joke writers. So it's like...
Who? Joe Kerr? Joe Kerr, a joke writer of a joke. My God, it's Joker.
Oh, this movie's so good.
The only possible
explanation. We're like an hour into it. So the plot of this movie, in a nutshell, is that Batman and Robin are here, that Commodore Schmidlab has been kidnapped. There's a mirage when they try to go to his yacht, and Batman gets attacked by a shark. Exploding shark that he has to fight off with bat shark repellent.
The anti-shark spray.
Hand me down the shark repellent bat spray.
A seminal moment of my introduction to the Batman 66.
Almost as life-changing as James Bond punching a nun and then it turns out it's a man.
Yeah, it's almost like that.
We might as well say this now. What's interesting about this movie is when it came out, everyone's like, this is just a TV show, but too long. It's not as good as the show. But because the movie was exclusively owned by 20th Century Fox, and the TV show was co-owned by DC Comics and 20th Century Fox, it was way easier to get a copy of the movie than to get a copy of the TV show. Like, the TV show could not be released as home media until the mid-2010s. Like a couple of years before Adam West died was when it finally got a DVD, while the movie was always available. So now the movie is beloved because most people, the only way you could watch the TV show was to watch this movie, which is why all the iconic moments from the TV show are now from the movie.
Interesting. Well, I was going to say in this opening sequence, it is funny that to a certain extent, I mean, certainly the Riddler shark, which has extra sound effects to underline its fakeness.
Yes.
This is literally a TV movie with part of the joke being how chintzy things look, and I'm watching it and I'm like, these effects and cinematography are at least as good as Goldfinger.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is when I was watching
correct.
When I was watching the TV show earlier today, I'm like, why does this feel so cheap? But that's because I'm used to watching the movie where they had an unreasonable amount of money and they're like, can we have a bat boat? Can we have a bat copter?
You know what I was also thinking is that you hear a really evil man called Todd Phillips talking about, he directed a Joker movie a few years ago. He was saying, like, we wanted the movie to feel like it was inside of Joker's brain, but I'm like, the movie that feels like it's inside Joker's brain is this movie. It's Batman 66. This is an incredibly bizarre, schizophrenic, joke-filled experience that is against everything good and righteous, and that's what makes it good, in my opinion.
Well, it was interesting. The next thing I noted was after they encounter the boat mirage and return back to Commissioner Gordon and the mayor? Is that
No,
who he
that's
is?
Chief
Oh, Chief
O'Hara.
O'Hara.
He's an Irish Catholic
Okay.
beat cop.
The woman must be mad. Please, Chief O'Hara.
He's a different cop.
The 60s show is full of those characters. Like, everyone will have an experience when you first show them this movie. Aunt Harriet shows up, and everyone's like, who the fuck is...
So
Yeah.
Aunt Harriet,
That's the way. I was actually going to ask you this, Troy. Does Aunt Harriet have any lines in this movie? And I don't think so.
I don't think so, which is funny because watching that episode of the show, she doesn't shut up. She's like, Dick, why aren't you playing Chopin, you dumbass 12-year-old?
You haven't been practicing your piano. You can't be watching TV because there's so much Joker on TV.
She's like the Graggle Simpson of Batman.
Aunt Harriet is such a funny character in the comics. So what happened with Batman was Batman comics were chilling. Everyone was having a great time. And then the 50s happened. And this guy was like, comics are evil because they're violent and mean and Batman's gay. And everyone's like, whoa, oh my God, he called Batman gay. We have to ruin Batman and he has to meet aliens and crap. And so they're like, whoa.
Wait, meeting aliens would make him less gay?
No, here was the plan to make him less gay. One, they introduced Batwoman, who is currently a lesbian, so that backfired. Then they introduced the original Batgirl, who is currently Flamebird or something. I don't care. And then they're like, what do we do about Alfred, this gay English guy who wears an apron all the time? What are we going to do? So they're like, all right, I have an idea. Let's kill him. So they killed Alfred in the comics, and they replaced him
What
with
will we do with this gay guy? Let's kill him.
So they were like, all right, he's gone. So then it turns out Dick Grayson had an Aunt Harriet. And I know what you're saying. Why did Bruce Wayne adopt him then if he had an aunt? Shut up. Aunt Harriet Cooper moved in to the Wayne Manor like 3 years before the show, and she was the new Alfred. But then when they were doing the 60s show, DC Comics was like, oh, you're going to love Aunt Harriet, right? And the people who created the show were like, we want Alfred. We like Alfred. So they're like, why don't you use both? So that's why this version has Alfred and Aunt Harriet living together at Wayne Manor.
Yes.
But Alfred's the only one who's allowed to like do anything. And also in the show, Aunt Harriet does not know they are Batman and Robin.
Yes.
But Alfred does.
Doesn't that become like a major plot point in Return of the Cape Crusaders?
Well, the animated movie, so 50 years later, after they figured out the rights, most of the rights stuff, you'll notice the music is not in those animated films. But they made animated sequels of all the surviving cast. And I like Return of the Cape Crusaders, but I hate that they did this. They had Aunt Harriet not knowing that they're Batman and Robin, so she spends the whole time telling everyone that Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson are lovers, and that's why they run off.
Oh. Sorry, no, we're here, Troy. We're here.
Oh, Jake's just like...
We're here, we
Jake's
just don't
like-
care.
But then, and I'm like, I don't like that. But then in the sequel, it's that Bruce Wayne and Harvey Dent are lovers, and that's their whole character trait is just calling them gay. And I'm like, all right, it works better there. I'll take it. One more thing before we leave the topic. I know our listeners are like, but then how did Alfred come back to life? So Batman had this villain called the Outsider who kept trying to kill him. And finally he knocked him on the head really hard and he took his mask off and it was Alfred. And Alfred's like, oi, I got hit on the head real hard and I became a supervillain named the Outsider. Now you hit me on the head really hard and I'm Alfred. Good thing I didn't kill you, Master Bruce. And Harriet moved out and we all forgot this ever happened. All right, move on.
What a beautiful art form this truly is.
It's a wonderful literature.
Thus leaving us with the confusing dilemma because Aunt Harriet has no lines in this movie, so when we first see her,
it's just an
when
old lady.
Bruce and Dick show up, you're just like, who the fuck is that?
Just an old lady.
It's just dawning on me that we've decided to make a podcast on a subject that Troy's an expert on, and I'm like, what have I done? Oh, God.
I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here
You're
with
locked
me.
in here with me.
What is he, some kind of Joker? Okay, but to your point, Jan, about how this is truly an attack on all that is good and righteous, somewhat bold, I would say. the winky in their scene with the Irish cops or whatever, where it's played for laughs. The support your police. That's our message. Well said, Robin.
Yeah. Support your police. That's our message.
Well said, Robin.
Well, that was the whole joke of the show, was that by playing it straight, like, the idea was you were making fun of the authority figures of Batman. It really is, Jan's right. It really is through the eyes of the Joker. His whole show.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
So I guess in some ways, all right, you're making me bump my rating up.
What, the Joker rating?
Yes, my Joker rating. My movie rating is intact, but we're talking about my Joker rating.
I do see why I related this movie to the Beatles so much, because despite being the most popular thing ever, it did speak to counterculture of the 60s in a very profound way.
Well, wait, Jan, are you saying the counterculture in the 60s might have been borderline mainstream?
Ah, shut up.
What I'm saying is it's a straight line between, what was it, Paul McCartney's dirty old grandpa and Bruce Wayne and Alfred.
He's my butler.
What I love about Batman is that he's very clean.
Okay, but this scene, I have a question for Mr. Peterson. They underline, and I guess obviously this is part of the gag too, that they are fully deputized with the Gotham police
Yeah,
force.
you mean Gotham.
Batman and Robin are fully deputized agents of the law.
Okay, so this is a great question, Paul. So when Batman first appeared in the case of the Chemical Syndicate back in Detective Comics 27,
what have you done,
he
Paul?
was a vigilante. He would run around just randomly punching people in the acid tanks, not knowing what would happen. Who cares? He was officially, like, on his own. Then in Batman issue number 7 in 1941, he got arrested by the police and was put on trial in the story The People v. Batman. And he was put on trial, and it was found out he was framed. And they all felt so bad for Batman that after he solved the case, Commissioner Gordon back in 1941 was like, you are now an officially deputized deputy of the law. And that was partially because DC Comics was like, these comics are for children. We have to set a good role model. So in the 1943 Batman serial, there's a line where Batman and Robin are official FBI agents.
Yes.
But basically, the point is from 1941 to basically Frank Miller. Batman is not a vigilante. He is a member of the Gotham City
Well, they
Police
make
Department.
a very clear point in the movie is that Catwoman disguised as Kitka.
Kitka.
You guys are like the vigilantes in the Westerns, and Commissioner Gordon will not have that. They are certainly not vigilantes.
Yes.
You are like the masked vigilantes in the Westerns, no?
Certainly not.
And that's where Robin, of course, says, support your police with a hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And again, Batman, I don't want to date this episode, but much like current politicians, when everyone's like, what about this fuck up you did? He's like, no further question. No further questions.
Well, and then right after he says this, immediately after, Commissioner Gordon goes like, thank God you lied to the press. Yes, this is a good thing because we would cause a panic.
We would cause a panic if exploding sharks were known.
Can we just talk a little bit? I mean, I know that this is an anti-Batman podcast, but because we are on the because this is a Joker podcast. But
I love that guy.
Since we are on the subject, I gotta mention that Adam Wee is my favorite live-action Batman of all time.
I was gonna say,
a lot of people
I'm with
say
you,
so.
Jan. 66 Batman as a whole, but him in particular, he's the only live-action Batman that feels like he's actually playing Batman, like a good take on the character.
Balances this thing so beautifully of like, he's so much fun and campy and ridiculous. But then when he's like, I am gonna murder you all motherfuckers, you see like genuine rage in his eyes.
Yeah.
He plays it straight. I don't think this show would have worked if Roger Moore or Sean Connery was in it, because they'd be like, yes, well, we did lie to the press.
Well, it'd be too much that way. And if you watch like the screen tests with Lyle Wagner, and I was watching this biography about the 66 show, they play Burt Ward and Adam West's audition right next to Lyle Wagner's.
When is the time of a clock like
the whistle of a train. When is the time of a clock like the whistle of a train?
And it's just like Lyle Wagner's just kind of reading the lines, and it's very generic vanilla. Adam West has this uncanny ability to not overplay it like Roger Moore with like too much of a wink, but everything is still really committed. It's like this weird balance where he's not saying the lines straight. Like people say it's a straight performance. It's like it's not just that. He says them strangely.
Yeah, like there's a satiric edge to it.
It's just odd. It's like, but like,
There was a particular time in culture where, you know, the Shatners of the world, like you could get away with this kind of thing.
Well, I don't think Adam West is getting away with it, though. I think the tragedy of Adam West and Burt Ward is they gave they knew exactly how to play Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Like they did a note perfect and everyone thought it was bad acting. But
Burt
it's
Ward
actually like,
literally ruined his genitals for this role.
Yeah.
And because of this, no one wanted to use Robin after. We still haven't seen Robin in the big screen.
No, that's what's shocking is it's like, wait.
Well, until Chris O'Donnell.
Oh, right, I forgot about that.
He was in 2 movies.
There's a movie called Batman and Robin.
And Robin.
There was a movie called Batman and Robin.
I hear you, but that's true, but they very much did make a movie called Batman and Robin.
I hear you. It's wrong, but I hear you.
You're right.
Speaking of Burt Ward's voice, they made those animated movies and Adam West sounds like death because he was dying, and Julie Newmar sounds 100 years old.
Oh, God, yeah, that's painful.
Burt Ward sounds exactly the same today as he did back in 1966.
He
does. Yes, it's
terrifying.
insane. But that is my problem with Return of the Caped Crusader. I thought it was okay, but it was still giving this, like, wink-wink thing.
Did you watch the sequel? Batman vs. Two-Face, where William Shatner's Two-Face?
No, I haven't seen that.
No, what's great about Two-Face is they play it straight and they play it like Adam West, Bruce Wayne. It's the whole Kitka part of this movie. If it was a whole movie, because he's like, Harvey, I'm sorry, Harvey. And like, they both get to actually act. And I'm like,
well, and to me, that's the magic of this movie is that it goes from a macro, like geopolitical conflict where they disintegrate like the leading figures of world politics. But then we focus on the personal side of Batman and his relationship with Catwoman.
And it's all about the reversals, the incredibly juvenile, stupid reversals of Batman and the villains, because it's just everything is a cat and mouse game of, aha, I went up to you on this, but luckily I swallowed a pill.
Wait, Jake, a cat and mouse game. The attack happened at sea. Wait, there's something fishy
for
about
Catwoman.
this.
That is when I knew this was a masterpiece.
Riddle.
Yes.
This whole thing is a riddler.
Riddler. A fish. A penguin. A penguin eats fish, and that shark was pulling my leg.
My leg. A Joker. I do like that Commissioner Gordon is like, who's broken out of jail? And it's all like freeze frames from the trailer of them in like a Chrysler showroom. And he's like, oh, we're missing like 4 of your main bad guys. We don't know where they are.
Whoops.
And the thing is that they also go like, okay, what do you think they're going to do? Take over Gotham City? I'd believe it if they were 2. Over the country? No, if 3, maybe. 4, their minimum objective must be the entire world.
And then we cut to the bar where Catwoman is going in disguise and she runs into a pirate who goes, yo ho, Catwoman. And she's like, never call me by my real name.
Ahoy, Catwoman.
Imbecile, how many times have I told you never use my real name in public?
Yes.
So her name is legally Catwoman.
Well, that is very Joker coded. Like, Arthur is not his real
No, his
face.
real name
it's
is
the Joker.
Joker, yeah.
It's Joker.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Catwoman, Lee Meriwether is Lee Meriwether in this.
You keep it in your pants. Keep it.
All right.
We know you like 95-year-old mummies.
No, yeah, we saw Lee Meriwether. Ben Mankiewicz hit on her, as he does every guest at the TCM Classic Film Festival.
Yes, do we need to talk about the context in which, what was it, three of us were there?
One of the times we watched it.
Oh my God, yeah.
All of us were there.
Yes.
For context, we went to see this movie at the TCM Film Festival, where it was played at the Roosevelt Hotel in the pool area.
So it was a DVD.
It was a DVD, and we were sitting cross-legged next to a pool, and Adam West and Lee Meriwether and Ben Mankiewicz were there.
And Burt Ward.
No, Burt Ward wasn't
Oh,
there.
was Burt Ward not there? Okay. Did I ever tell you about the time that Burt Ward got mad at me?
I think you have, but let's have the listeners at home.
Yeah, Burt Ward's not coming up again on this podcast.
Oh, yeah. Well, I went to the Los Angeles Comic-Con, and I went up to his table just to say hi. And then basically I was like, oh, hi. And I asked him a question. He's like, what, are you going to buy something, kid? To be fair, at that point, I didn't realize that there was an etiquette to talking to people in the celebrity zoo. So I was just saying hi to Burt Ward because he's Robin. And then he got mad at me because I didn't. He's like, do you want to buy anything? And I'm like, no. And get the fuck out of here.
Jake, he didn't have signed pictures and cans of Burt Ward dog food for nothing at his table.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
I will say, Bert, I love you, Bert. Come on the podcast. We can talk about how you worked with the Joker. You do have a reputation for being a little prickly compared to Adam, who once he got over his alcoholism was like a saint.
Adam West had a journey. Yeah, he was living his best life by that pool with that DVD.
He was.
There was like literally months before he died.
No, it was a year, wasn't it?
It was a year, yeah.
That's months. A year is made out of months, idiot.
But this is a Joker podcast, so there's no rules. So it's
this is a Joker podcast, so you have to be technically correct.
Days from his death.
All right, but yeah, so him and Lee Meriwether still have insane chemistry. But you know who else has insane chemistry? The United Underworld in their little apartment loft where everything is labeled like the Batcave, where you have a shelf that's like fish food. Riddle books.
It is. It's a portrait of cohabitation. You know, roommates. It's like Joker's sandwich, Riddler's sandwich. And Riddler's sandwich has a question mark on it.
Apart from the sets, I love all the Dutch angles that are especially, I mean, they're a trademark in this show.
Oh, yeah.
But especially for the villain slayer, it's all to get into the dark, twisted mind of the Joker. The camera can't be straight.
Though you also have like the subliminal message of, is the building sinking into the sea?
True. Well, they drink in there. It's a converted place of a den of drunkery.
Gosh, drink is sure a filthy thing, isn't it? I'd rather be dead than unable to trust my own eyes.
But while we're on the topic, I do want to give a shout out for how this movie is shot. Because there is a weird amount of thought put into how it's shot.
Oh, for sure.
Everything's like Dutch angles.
Yes.
But also, I don't know if this is a pop art idea to make every shot look like a comic book panel, or if they realized that if they did the script at the show's speed, the movie would not be feature length, so they needed to pad it out. Every shot is incredibly long, and there's no movement. So the movie has very interesting pacing, where there will be moments where people are just standing still and not talking in like a pose. And then they'll talk for a little bit, and then the shot will still hold. And I kind of love it. It's an odd pacing thing.
We need to give this movie more props than like it's just funny goose time, because I'm on the Wikipedia of it right now, and there's a whole section in its page that says themes and interpretation.
Oh yeah, no, if you read the Wikipedia page on the movie, they're like, this is the first time Batman ever got political.
Yeah, it says the movie represents Batman's first foray into the Cold War.
Sure.
You are technically correct.
When he says it's not our job to interfere in world affairs, and then he does it by accident, is like, run away.
Yes.
It's not for mortals like us to tamper with the laws of nature.
A few moments later.
This strange mixing of minds may be the greatest single service ever performed for humanity.
Quick, let's get the fuck out of here.
But we'll get to that. So we're in the United Underworld lab, and this has been pointed out. It seems like while Casino Royale 1967 did create many things, the logo of the United Underworld is an octopus.
Spectre!
I forget, when did the Spectre logo get like formalized to be an octopus?
From Russia with Love.
All right, never mind. I guess they stole it. No, no one, no, don't look.
Look, it's a nod. It's a tasteful nod.
It's a tasteful nod. But yeah, the bros are hanging out and Catwoman's being hot, purring all the time.
Yep.
And that's a recurring gag where she purrs and a pirate looks at her in horror like, what the fuck is wrong with her?
Well, horror may be something, I don't know. I
Just
like
like, well, she'll be meowing at the moon or meowing as she's looking through the periscope. And then there's a pirate that just goes like, ugh.
And she licks herself.
I know you guys have Claudia Cardinal and Viniana Top. I have
that's just me.
All right, but these two will never admit it, Jan. We all know theirs is like some weird sexy Pringle.
I admitted Claudia Cardinale was in my top.
All right, so we have Claudia Cardinal.
No, I thought we all agreed it was the naked hand in the title sequence of Skyfall.
Oh yeah.
Oh right.
I was gonna say we do need an ample-breasted Catwoman, but then I remembered Malcolm in that Nostalgia Critic skit.
Rolling R's, unite!
Anyway, Lee Meriwether did say at the TCM Classic Film Festival that she didn't know what to do in her audition, and she had an audition a lot, so she just went, I'm going to act like a cat. And so she just started licking herself and asking for milk, and she got the job, and I'm like, good job.
Why didn't it work for Sean Young then?
Yeah, I know.
That was a different time. That Hollywood went woke.
It's
the anti-cat agenda.
well, what happened was that Hollywood became the pirates that look at Catwoman in horror when she purrs, and
not
so
the appreciative audience member.
Yeah, but Tim Burton said, "Yo ho,
yo ho, yeah,
yo ho, what, sir?"
Another wardrobe choice that I think hurts the Joker here is I forget if it debuted here or if it debuted in season 1 of the show. Frank Gorshin felt very uncomfortable wearing Riddler tights. So he asked for an incredibly cool tuxedo. And I'm sorry, whenever he's wearing that tuxedo, I'm like, get the hell out of here, Joker. There's a cooler guy with a green suit on.
Well, but that's not in this movie, though, right?
Yeah, it is.
No, he wears the suit.
Yeah, he wears both. He alternates.
And Joker wears a domino mask just to fuck with them, too.
Oh, yeah, because they can't know who they really are.
You guys are gonna have to help me through this because I watched this under a certain green substance, Joker gas.
Yeah.
Jan, are you doing okay?
So a Catwoman pretends to be Soviet journalist Kitania Irania Tatania Kerenska Alisov.
Comrade Kitania Irania Tatania Kerenska Alisov.
Otherwise known as Kitka, and she starts getting it on with Batman.
Not yet, but we're getting there.
Yes, but that is the general, so how does this plan relate to the bigger scheme? Just distract him?
Step 1 is they kidnap Bruce Wayne.
No. You guys are skipping steps. Step 1, you kidnap Commodore Schmidlab and get his molecular rearranger gun. Step 2, you try to kill Batman with a Mirage boat and exploding shark. That didn't work. Step 3, he goes out to investigate
the lone illegal buoy with a camera that shoots a optical illusion of Commodore Schmidlab's yacht.
This might have been the Joker gas, but did a dolphin intercept
a
missile?
dolphin jumped in front of the missile.
So besides, so the movie has themes of Cold War politics, but the true theme is cruelty to marine life. Because not once, not twice, but 3 different animals get blown up.
It's a very ocean-focused movie.
A porpoise and an octopus.
They get blown up, but not the ducks.
Not those cardboard ducks.
The porpoise sacrificed his life to save Batman.
But no, it's
Robin.
all a misdirect, remember? Because Batman and Robin get trapped to this buoy. So there's like a 5-minute sequence where they're not moving, which again, I don't know if that's a stylistic choice.
An exercise in stasis, yes.
But yeah, and they're like using responders on their belt to move the missiles out of the way, but then they're like, our batteries ran out or it jammed or something.
The batteries are dead.
Confound it! The batteries are dead!
And so Joker, Riddler, and Penguin are like, wah, 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 we're gonna get them. And then we think they died. And then they're driving back to work traumatized in their bat boat. And they're like, that brave porpoise, he threw himself in front of that.
Gosh, Batman. Nobility of the almost human porpoise.
It was noble of that animal to hurl himself into the path of that final torpedo. He gave his life for ours.
This is only the first time where the threat is, let's shoot a torpedo at Batman and Robin, and then Batman and Robin have a thing to blow it up, and then they shoot another one, they have a thing to blow it up. This happens multiple times in the movie. This is the action scene.
And then Batman's like, how did the Penguin get his hands on a pre-atomic submarine with little flippers that looks like a penguin? And he calls the Pentagon.
Oh, this scene is great.
He's like, well, did you guys sell a submarine to someone recently? And the Pentagon's like, yes, we did, Batman. We sold it to Mr. P.N. Gwynn.
P.N. Gwynn?
He didn't leave an address, and he's like...
He left a post office box.
Oh, yes, I think I wrote this down. Yes, he answers the phone with, ahoy, Batman.
Yes, ahoy.
Oh, hello.
Who is it?
Batman.
Hello, Batman. Ahoy!
And Batman asks, have you sold any surplus war submarines? And if so, to whom?
Let me check. Oh, and while this is happening, the guy at the Pentagon is playing a board game with his sexy assistant.
Yes.
A scathing portrait of law enforcement.
Yes.
No, and then Batman's like, you sold a pre-atomic war submarine
to people who don't even live his home address.
We haven't done anything foolish, have we?
Disposing of pre-atomic submarines to persons who don't even leave their full addresses.
And he's like, yes, we did, Batman. Why are you talking to me like that? And then Batman just like stares at the phone. He's like, have a good day, sir. And he's like, did I do something wrong?
Yes, everyone wants Batman's approval.
Also talking about like how this may be one of the most accurate Batmans, I feel like this incarnation is the one where like the Bat Belt, the Bat Cave, they're all like the most useful. Like,
yes,
there's always something there to help him. He's actually doing detective work. You know, like,
well, this Batman has a mental illness of OCD because everything is labeled.
No, everyone in this universe has a case of OCD because if you look in the villain lair, later in the movie when they're fighting in it, there's a row of cabinets next to that bedroom, and it says red, yellow, green, black, pink, and I'm like, what? What are they?
Okay, and this is around when Kitka shows up, I think.
Yeah, so the plan is in order to attack the world and take over the world, they have to get Batman out of the way. So how do you get Batman out of the way? You kidnap a millionaire, I forget, inflation.
An upstanding citizen who Batman will have to
rescue. And when he comes to rescue him, okay, then he'll run, he'll answer the Riddler's riddle, then he'll run onto the Joker's exploding Jack-in-the-Box, and go flying out the window into the Penguin's exploding octopus.
The one note I will say about that scene, it probably has the most jarring jump cut in the entire movie.
Which one?
The whole movie is kind of, it's like what you're saying, Troy, like a very long shots. There's nothing too jarring, but there's a point where they start arguing, and then all of a sudden Riddler yells at them, goes like, "Shut up, all of you!" And then
got it.
And then before he even finishes the word "you," it just cuts to a close up, and now he's going like, "I see the way to do it."
Shut up, all of you! I see the way to do it.
But see, this is the issue, to bring the topic back to the Joker. Now, the Joker, he's laughing all the time. He's the most, like, obviously funny. So in that respect, Cesar Romero's being a good Joker. But I think what a lot of us love about the Joker is that he's bipolar and that he has rapid mood swings.
Yeah, it's his mental illness that we love.
And this is the Riddler who does it in the movie, where he's, like, manic, and then he's like calm, and he has a plan, and that's what Frank Gorshin's doing. Frank Gorshin stole a lot from Dan Duryea in Winchester 73, from Richard Widmark's psychotic noir villains, and he like infused that into his character, and in some ways, to modern audiences, he does seem like more of a Joker figure than the Joker that you might expect.
Frank Gorshin does have a good laugh, but Cesar Romero's delicious. gracious! His voice is so theatrical. When
But then,
when he
except he's like, shut up, Riddler. You don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You're mad, Riddler.
Yeah, you're mad, Riddler.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Shut up, Joker.
The moment Batman sees Catwoman, he'll bop her with a batarang.
Oh, but I will be in disguise. Oh, God, that scene's so hot when she, like, takes off her mask and she's like, oh,
Okay, so we're going to talk about Kit
stop
Kat.
it.
Yeah, let's get to Kit Kat. Let's get to...
Okay, so fun fact, Adam West almost refused to do the movie. His one request was, you have to give me an extensive Bruce Wayne romantic subplot.
Yay.
All the better for it.
So Kitka, she feels her life is under threat as a proud Soviet Russian. So she comes to the great capitalist whose reputation from Leningrad to Kamchatka has so filled the Soviet Union with joy. And she comes to Bruce Wayne because she's getting these threatening riddles.
She's like, I got this weird prank. Isn't there a villain called the Riddler?
This American supervillain named the Riddler. And Bruce Wayne's like...
A bourgeoisie villain.
A bourgeois, yeah, a bourgeois villain. Because she's Soviet, that's right, I forgot.
Batman's a romantic Cossack.
I love this. This time I did catch this. He's like, oh, you're American Cossack.
Yeah.
Batman. Like, she's reading about Batman and she's imagining like soldiers walking down the steps, like trampling babies. But it's Adam West.
There you go. So they have a steamy romance.
No, the riddles. Oh my God, these riddles. What is yellow skin and you can write with? A ballpoint banana. Who's the person that won't stop what they're doing? Someone in a rush. Russian, ballpoint banana, slip on a banana peel and break their neck. Yes, Robin, a clear threat on Ms.
The only possible meaning. That's the thing that sells it, the punchline.
I've got it. Someone Russian is gonna slip on a banana peel and break their neck.
Precisely, Robin. The only possible meaning.
Our longtime listeners may be like, oh no, is this what happens when Troy likes movies? And I'm like, yes, it is.
Yes, we just recite them.
Listeners can just fast forward.
Well, wait, now we get to the scene where they're drilling milk while listening.
Oh, that's a masterpiece.
Because Batman is such a good citizen, he wouldn't dare drink when he's on duty, so he drinks milk.
He's not an alcoholic. Yeah. And she drinks milk because she's a cat.
Yeah, she's a cat.
No, she has a martini, I think.
A white martini.
Because she's a villain, and Bruce Wayne drinks milk.
Or is it a white Russian?
It should have been more cat related, yeah. And it also relates to my favorite line in the entire movie, which is like, well, the most famous scene is probably the bomb. And everyone remembers sometimes you can't get rid of a bomb. But the line I always quote from that scene is, Batman, you saved that riffraff in that bar? And he says, they may be alcoholics, Robin, but they're still human beings.
You risked your life to save that riffraff in the bar?
They may be drinkers, Robin, but they're also human beings.
And I was so high I cried. I actually cried.
But they're also human beings.
What I love about Robin is Burt Ward's Robin is because he's Batman's like apprentice. He's always like, why don't we just shoot him and say to hell with it, Batman? And he's like, no, Robin, we don't do that.
Why don't we just let the drunks in the bar die?
Batman, why don't we just use this opportunity to seize power over the globe and rule it with an iron fist?
It is not our place to interfere unless I make a mistake, you know.
But yeah, so someone on Twitter once put a poll like, what's the horniest Batman movie, and didn't put Batman 66 as an option. And I'm like, what?
I mean, it doesn't have much competition.
Yeah, it's pretty hot. And Robin and Alfred are like watching, and Alfred's like getting into it, and Robin's like,
Two things. First of all, this movie doesn't make many pretenses about Gotham is LA, and this is the most LA Alfred of all time.
Are you talking about when he calls Robin a prude?
Is that true, Master Robin? Our instructions were to keep watch.
He calls Robin a prude. He's tanned to hell. He's so coiffed. The mustache.
Yes.
He's a silver fox. It's amazing.
This Alfred is like the Topher Grace in Under the Silver Lake to Robin's Andrew Garfield.
Yes, this Alfred definitely has a podcast.
He's recommending trying DMT.
Yeah. He goes to screenings at Hollywood Forever. And number 2, am I wrong? Their song, the love ballad, it's Can't Help Falling in Love with You, right?
No, it's a French song about a lost love affair.
Okay.
About a doomed love affair.
The tune sounds awful similar to the Elvis's.
Okay, Paul. What?
You know.
That's not the song from the movie. You guys just got Elvis pills.
Someone inhaled a little too much Joker gas.
Yeah, just because it looks like a Baz Luhrmann movie doesn't mean it actually is a Baz Luhrmann movie. Just because it has bright colors and Dutch angles doesn't mean it's.
Oh shit! I watched Elvis instead.
It was so cool when the Joker sang Doja Cat.
Colonel Parker, you gotta listen to this Joker fella. Wow, that's crazy. And the craziest part is he's white.
He's white?
He's white.
He's white?
Well, he's Cuban.
He's like, no one will ever hire a Cuban. He's white. He's white.
He looks quite sickly, in fact.
I see, Stewart, your face has the most ghastly pallor. Are you sure you're getting enough of the good old sea air?
Oh, my duties keep me mostly undercover, sir.
Oh, too bad, too bad.
Yeah. But no, the song that they're listening to, if you translate the lyrics, it's like, the love affair is but a moment. The grief of love will last a lifetime. Which already is more emotional depth than like 24 James Bond movies. But anyway, moving on.
When we don't need to dwell on the past, but it is very funny how quickly this TV movie blows all of them out of the water.
Literally.
God.
With penguins exploding octopus.
God damn it.
I want to point out something about the Joker here. He is the only person in this sequence to get his own flying umbrella. Everyone else shares an umbrella, but the Joker gets his own umbrella.
That's a win. That's a win for us.
That's a win for Joker.
That is the
fans.
first alpha move that Joker does.
That's a point up in the alpha tier list.
Unfortunately, Penguin and Riddler have already bossed him around. So.
Yes, but he gets his own umbrella because no one will sit with him because he has smelly Joker farts.
But, maybe it's good that he's kind of a cook in this one. Because
the rage has to start somewhere.
Yes, exactly. It's like in a meta sense, you need to start somewhere, and then it built and it built.
Wait. Okay, Jan, you raise an interesting debate, and I'm glad you're getting into it. In this sequence where Bruce Wayne and Kit are about to have sex, and everyone's watching them, who's the biggest cuck? Is it Bruce Wayne because the villains are screwing him? Is it Penguin and Riddler because they're getting off on it, and Joker?
Whoa.
Or is it Robin because he's in love with Batman?
No. Robin refuses to take part in the cucking.
You're right. Alfred is the cuckold.
Well, I was gonna say I think it's Alfred.
If Robin wasn't there, Alfred would be a cuck, but Robin is not a cuck.
It's Alfred because while Batman's getting his dick wet, Alfred is like trying to solve the dog killer of Silver Lake mystery.
That's true.
Well, yeah, the thing is, Alfred is very content in his voyeur status, but he's being cucked by Robin not letting him watch.
Yeah, Robin.
Yeah.
Which is the whole point of why Robin thinks they're doing it, but I do enjoy how Adam West is clearly just going, yeah, this is a sting operation. Wink, wink, I'm horny.
And honestly, I'm really upset about how this Alfred is treated in this movie and beyond. He's bossed around so much, and in Return of the Caped Crusader, which I also watched under Joker gas, when Batman's just like, you're fired, I got so upset I had to stop watching it.
Hey, that's because in the Return of the Caped Crusaders, Joker, Penguin, and Riddler fire Catwoman for being too friendly with Batman and fire Batman with a personality changer gun that they stole from Hugo Strange, and they make him evil. So he fires Alfred because he's not himself.
I know, but it still made me angry. But I will say is that in this iteration, they give Alfred his own superhero mask, and I like that.
Yes, everyone gets a domino mask in this movie. It's a joyful choice.
Though it always bothered me as a child.
And as they're kidnapping...
What bothered you as a child?
Why is the Penguin and the Joker wearing domino masks. They don't.
So no one will know who they are.
It doesn't make sense.
There are things I can buy, but I'm like, you guys are you're the Joker. You don't need to hide who you are. Don't
No, but Joker is his
Out
true
of the few
name.
things in this movie that make sense, that's one of them.
Well, actually, Jake, if you watch the TV show, they mention in one episode that the Joker used to be a hypnotist before his accident. So it is canon in the Batman 66 universe that they do have a file on him through his whole life, and he actually does have a real name.
Oh.
Do you guys ever watch the rare interviews from the Museum of Texas Moving Image?
What?
No, but...
Okay, so there's this interview of Cesar Romero promoting this movie, and he's in the Joker makeup, but he's otherwise wearing Cesar Romero clothes, so he has a medallion. It's very silly. And they're like, "What? Why Joker? Who is Joker?" And Cesar Romero, he's like, "I am not a great student of the Batman comics, but I am under the impression that in an early appearance, the Joker was running from Batman, and he fell into a river, and there was a chemical in the river that dyed his skin green, and he's very angry about it." And I'm like, whoa, they actually told him. He actually read the comic.
The most well-researched Joker performance of all time.
Yeah, it's the only Joker who actually read the comic.
Well, you had to describe to him, which is as close as you're going to get. Okay, then Bruce Wayne is...
Yeah, he gets captured, and Lee Meriwether does this great thing where she relapses as he's beating people up. She's like, oh.
But she has to play the damsel.
Yeah, oh no.
Yeah, so he's kidnapped.
He's tied up, and he's like, "Where's Kitka?
Where's Miss Kitka?
Bring her to
if
me!"
You've laid one hand on her, I'll kill you all. I'll rend you limb from limb.
I swear by heaven, if you've harmed that girl, I'll kill you all. I'll rend you limb from limb.
It is the hardest fucking line ever.
God, have you guys ever heard Adam West doing The Dark Knight Returns in like that exact voice?
No, but I should look this up.
You should. It's a great clip. He's like, "You lucky punk."
Do you know who I am, punk? I'm the worst nightmare you ever had. Kind that made you wake up screaming for your mother.
And it works, and you're like, God damn, that's Batman. Yeah. Nailed it. He nailed it.
This isn't a mud hole, it's an operating table, and I am the surgeon.
So yeah, Miss Kitka has to do this, like, Catwoman has to do this rotating thing, and Joker, Penguin, and Riddler are like listening, and there's this really cute, intimate close-up of the two of them, where she's like sneaking, because they think Bruce Wayne can just call Batman. It's actually kind of a Clark Kent situation. Like, you normally see this in Superman stories where they're like, can't Bruce Wayne just like call Batman? But he can't because he's tied up. And then what does Bruce Wayne say? He's like, reach for this thing.
He has a radio.
It's common for billionaires of my status to carry such contrivances.
Yeah, it's common for capitalists of my status to carry.
That's it.
Capitalists like myself who carry large sums of money often have such safety contrivances.
Along with large sums of money.
Because he's got to explain this to the Russian kid.
Yeah, to the communists.
I'm so glad that this is an anti-Batman podcast because I'd be going off right now.
Yeah. I'm fuming at this.
If this was a genuine Batman podcast, we'd be like, they're making fun of capitalism, but we love rich guys. But because it's an anti-Batman podcast, we can go based
and red
Batman helped communist agenda.
Yes, but so how? There's like, does he just like shake himself? What? How does he? Is there a distraction that gets him?
Okay,
loose?
so his plan is that he knew that the room was mic'd, and it turns out that the radio was a lie because he knew that the Joker would undo his restraints so then he could break out and start fighting them, because he says this but it's muffled under score and punching sound effects. He goes like, I made it up. And he's punching them.
Wait,
so
Oh, yeah,
It's
it was
a
the
ruse.
Joker who did. God damn it, Joker.
Yeah, so the Joker's the one who fucks it up. Well, he has a hand in fucking it up.
All right, that's a point against this film.
Joker would not be easily duped. Beta move, -1. We're back to 0.
It's actually pro because it's all part of the plan if you think about it.
He doesn't make plans. He's just a dog. He wouldn't know what to do with a wealthy capitalist if he
Well,
caught...
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's like,
But he just does things that anyone tells him to do, so...
yeah, you can't beat the Joker because even when you beat him, that's part of the thing. You know what I'm saying?
So in this next fight where Bruce Wayne goes ham on everyone, what does he do? Does he punch a pirate onto the Jack-in-the-Box and then the pirate hits the octopus?
Yes.
Something like that.
Batman kills a lot of people in this movie.
Most of the time it's by accident.
By accident. He's a deputized agent of the law. He's not a Wild West vigilante.
Like the worst thing he does is he kicks an unstable guinea pig goon, and causing him to explode into antimatter. But he didn't know that would happen.
The worst thing he does is he allows himself to fall in love.
It bedevils everyone living the life of a crime fighter.
But then Adam West stunt double. Wait, any other points on that scene before we get to Adam West stunt double jumping out of a window?
Oh yeah, he dives into the pier. Supposedly this pier was in Santa Barbara. I looked that up.
Ooh,
yeah.
We should go visit.
We should.
And I'll do all the lines, and then we'll blow it up.
Well, we can run around with a bomb.
Yay! Everyone will love that in this day and age.
Exactly.
Yeah, but he gets away. Is this when the bomb happens? No.
He goes back to Wayne Manor, and he goes, I escaped with the help of Batman. And I'm like, you dumb idiot. What if they arrest the villains and they ask them for a witness statement? They'll say Batman was never there. So why did he say with the help of Batman? He's just setting himself up for a problem down the road. You moron.
The world can't know that Bruce Wayne is also strong and cool.
He's very much a Watchmen-esque problematic hero because he is probably the most virtuous person, except when he fucks up, and then he'll just make up shit for him to be out on top. And that's best exemplified later on in the movie when he says he saw the squishy rubber thing when he crashes the Bat helicopter.
Some luck. Landing right on top of a bed of foam rubber.
Yes, Robin, I'd say the odds against it would make even the most reckless gambler cringe. True, I did think I'd spotted it out of the corner of my eye.
I love that this being a pro-Joker podcast, Jake is like, actually, Batman is a problematic.
Actually, I'll agree with you, Jake. Batman is a very Watchmen-esque hero, and that he spends most of the movie with his blue dick hanging out.
Yes. Well, that too.
And no one mentions it. Go back and watch, listener.
Okay, so then if I remember correctly, they cook up the plan with the dehydrator and the Penguin uses it. Well, okay, here's my question though. So the Penguin is disguised as a Cockney man?
So the Penguin devised this plan. This is the beginning of what I call 30 Jokerless minutes.
A dark period.
No Joker
This
at
is
all.
what you call the third episode of the movie.
Yes, and this is called Burgess Meredith is actually kind of prestigious, so he needs now his own little subplot. So yes, they go back to the bar, they find the bomb, but Batman won't even let alcoholics die. So the famous bomb scene where he's running around, you just can't get rid of a bomb.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
I guess we'll skim over it because you know it. Everyone knows the scene.
Everyone knows it.
It's a
This
banger.
is like on the level of like Dorothy going to Munchkin Land. Like it's an iconic scene. And there's a tender moment where he finally gets rid of the bomb and Robin thinks he died. And Batman comes up and holds Robin's hand and goes, "It's okay, chum." And he's like, "Holy heart failure."
Don't worry, Robin. These steel pipes protected me from
the explosion.
It feels almost like improv. I feel like Adam was like, what's on this shitty set? Oh, pipes.
What was the production in this movie? Like a week, maybe?
I think like a month.
Wow.
I think Adam West said that he might have worked 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That sounds about right, yeah.
He wanted to stack his schedule because he was so busy with the show that he was like, I really need a break. Can I just do all my scenes first?
No, Cesar Romero in his interview, he's like, we just shot the movie and I actually have to go start shooting season 2 right now. Like they worked these people to like death. But yes, Commodore Schmidlap comes up, but we all know it's the Penguin. And Batman.
And Batman also knows it's the
Batman
Penguin.
might know that he's the Penguin, but he can't prove it.
What's your game, Penguin?
Penguin? No, my name's Schmidlap, old boy.
It looks bad, Batman. This brassy bird has us buffaloed.
Robin's like, come on, Batman.
He tells him, like, I suspect something. He's like, I'm like...
Yes, and so the Penguin kind of presumed that this would happen.
So he's like,
Yes.
let's see your fingerprints. And he's like, oh, I burned them off and now they're plastic. And he's like, damn. Oh, that's plausible.
The presiding surgeon did use plastic. You're right.
So then the only option remaining to prove that he's Commodore Schmidlap is to knock him out with bat gas, to take him to the bat cave so that they could do a retinal scan of him and confirm that he's Commodore Schmidlap, which is what the Penguin was counting on because he dehydrated 3 goons that he calls his guinea pigs.
That Catwoman and him like gingerly put into a saucepan because careful, they all have mothers.
Every one of them has a mother.
Every one of them has a mother, even though you can see in the shot they're spilling it. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
that is an improv line. That is confirmed. Burgess Meredith was allowed to improv line.
Which is a great line.
Which is great because, by the way, we haven't talked a lot about him, but his Penguin.
When we do a Penguin podcast, we'll talk about it.
Hands down the best Penguin. I'm sure someone on the podcast is going to say a certain Danny DeVito. Shut up. It's Burgess Meredith.
I like Mickey, but...
Who?
Rocky's trainer, Mickey Goldmill.
Oh, you're right. He's also in a Clash of the Titans.
Yes.
His most famous role intro is like, who? He's going full Robin. He's being like, that's not Mickey, that's the Penguin, you idiot.
That's the Penguin. His nose actually looks like that.
I love the part where the guinea pig falls down and he says, "Get up, you son of a bitch!" Because Penguin loves you.
I love Mickey and the Penguin, but nothing will beat Danny DeVito eating like raw salmon and then ripping the nose of a random guy.
There's nothing like seeing Burgess Meredith hike up on that ladder because he thinks he's gonna die because Batman and Robin have just taken out like 3 hydrated bad
They know
guys.
for a fact that he is the Penguin now. And yet they continue with the ruse because Batman has a plan.
But the Penguin knows that they know, and he has a plan.
But it's funny, as an audience member, I actually did not know that Batman knew that the Penguin knew that he knew he was Batman.
Like I said, that's a big part of this movie is like the intricate juvenile double crosses.
Lorenzo Semple Jr. is operating on like a 5th dimensional level by this point.
It's something just so stupid, but it's genius. It brings about so much character, you know?
This script was written in like 10 days, but oh my God, the amount of brain power.
The amount of genius to make something this stupid.
Yeah, they immediately touch all the pirates, and it's because they used heavy water, right?
Yes, heavy water.
Yes.
So they instantly evaporate.
They get turned into antimatter.
And then Robin is like, so they're not coming back? And then Batman goes, not in this universe.
The slightest impact was sufficient to instantly reduce them to antimatter.
You mean they won't be coming back?
Not in this universe.
Which is interesting because in DC Comics, antimatter is its own separate universe called the Antimatter Universe of Quard, which is where the yellow lightning givers who gave the Green Lantern villain Sinestro his own power ring live. And it's where they built the Anti-Monitor who would show up in Crisis on Infinite Earth.
Worn out faces.
Okay.
I just thought the fans would like the concept.
So the Penguin agrees to be gassed again so that they can leave
Yeah,
him.
but Robin has to take a pill.
Swallow this pill.
This is also a commonality with the Bat, because this also happens in the Joker episode I watched, where a lot of the double crosses, here, Robin, take this pill.
Well, the funniest double cross in that Joker episode is when Joker kidnaps Batman and Robin, and Batman just like uses an explosive on his belt to turn the sprinklers on, and Joker is like, crap! Foiled again!
Yes, Penguin tries to gas them, but they took a pill.
They took a pill, so they're all good.
They took a pill. It's all good. So they got to get on the bat cycle to get onto the bat helicopter so that they can track the Batmobile that Penguin has to their new evil lair. Little did they know that the rest of the villains are on the Penguin submarine.
Yes.
And in the meantime, the Riddler wants to give them a clue as to where their location is with the Polaris missile. And by accident, they accidentally shoot the Polaris missile at Batman and Robin in the helicopter.
Shout out to Frank Gorshin. Nothing lines. They're just like, why do you like giving Batman... Joker is like, why do you have to give Batman a riddle? And he's like, it's my life!
All the more reason not to hand them your crazy clues. Oh, but I must. Oh, outwitting Batman is my sole delight, my joy, my heaven on earth, my very paradise. Riddler, come back!
Yeah, that's another Joker beta move, is that Riddler is crazier than the Joker. Joker is going like, Riddler, you're taking this too far. We live in a society. Like,
And
your
Riddler's
society
like-
is too crazy.
And Riddler is like outsmarting Batman is all I have to live for. It's all I have.
Yes.
Which is so sad because Batman figures out all of his riddles. So like
Very quickly, might we add. Oh, actually, no, not even Batman. Robin figures them out.
Yeah, Robin figures them out.
Batman is incredibly useless in this movie.
Well, we've established that he's kind of like James Bond in a way, where
This is the most Sean Connery coded Batman, yeah.
yeah, where he ends up being kidnapped, and then he just kind of fails his way, and he ends up failing in the end, but kind of succeeding.
I hate to say this on a Joker podcast, but it's funny. People say Batman doesn't do anything, James Bond doesn't do anything, Indiana Jones doesn't do anything. Well, that's why you like them. People have issues of Superman because he's able to do things. And Superman accomplishes things. And they're like, I don't like that. I relate more to Batman, where he gets shot out of the sky on accident. And thankfully, he lands on a foam rubber sail that he did see out of the corner of his eye.
He's like, even the most risky gambler would blush or something. Now, to be fair, I did see it out of the corner of my eye.
I did see it
Which
out of the
was
corner of
really
my
funny
eye.
watching. I watched this with the audio commentary with Adam West and Burt Ward. And right after Batman says that line, Adam West is like, no, you didn't, Batman. You're lying.
You're lying, Bat. Why are you lying, Batman?
Sure, Batman. Sure you did.
But maybe you're getting to some truth here, Troy. And maybe this is a Joker podcast. It's safe to say, you know, America, we like to tell ourselves stories. We like to tell ourselves that we're a nation of doers. But all of our favorite people are completely inept. And that's who we relate to.
They are just heroes out of sheer luck.
Yeah. Wait, real quickly, before we get off the topic of this scene, two things I have to say. One, listen to the commentary of Adam West and Burt Ward on the DVD. It's hilarious. At one point, they talk about how the director would just like cry under a rug. Like he just had a rug hanging above him, and the director, Leslie Martinson, would just be sobbing. And they'd be like, we don't know how to talk to him. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's so sad to be here.
Well, they were very complimentary towards him as a director. But
Yeah,
then they
they're
would
like, he
also
was
make fun of
good. He
him.
was just sad.
Yeah, he was just having mental breakdowns.
That's why we need the Joker in our lives. To make him happy.
Cesar Romero has to like cheer him up in between takes with like a little dance.
Now we're getting to the famous Bat Run, where they run through downtown LA. I mean,
Gotham City.
Downtown LA.
It's very funny. So at this point, we've burned through, I think, almost every Bat vehicle because they just leave them out in public. Like they're not hidden except for the Batmobile. Everything else is just left out in public. But then they're running, and Batman is like doing a light jog after the upside down turkey riddle. And he's doing a light jog, and he's able to do it because he's so physically fit. But Robin is dying.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Robin's out of shape.
Specifically decide to run because the traffic is going to be too bad.
Yeah.
But they're like, we're in top physical condition except for Robin.
I did not even register that because when I know he's fake running, but like his bulge is going up and down, and I was horrified that entire time.
I wasn't looking at his bulge, but it is very funny to see them run because every time they run like they're on fire. They're just like, like their arms are swaying.
Burt Ward is like throwing his arms. Like
it's great. It's great stuff. And I feel like this is approaching the climax, of the movie.
Yes, this is when we get to the United World.
Yeah. Oh, and we get another James Bond connection. The actor who plays the delegate from Japan is the business guy from You Only Live Twice.
Oh!
Mr. Tanaka?
No, the business guy. Remember that boring office scene?
Yes. The one that gets mad at Bond for smoking.
Cigarettes are very bad for your chest.
The one played by Sean Connery.
Yeah, remember, Jen? You love that movie.
Well, that happens later, but...
Wait. Another Joker connection in this very scene. The delegate from Spain is played by George Lewis, who, despite his name, is from Guadalajara, Mexico. He appeared in many...
Jorge Luis.
Huh?
Jorge.
Okay, Jorge Luis. That's not how it's spelled. But he became an actor in Hollywood in the 30s and 40s, and he was in many Zorro things. His most famous role is as Don Diego's father in the Disney version of Zorro. In season 2 of Zorro, they introduced a new recurring character, Zorro's wacky uncle, who always came up with crazy schemes. That character was played by Cesar Romero.
Oh!
And they're reunited in this scene.
Oh my goodness.
Joker's trick.
We found it. We found the Joker's trick.
We found the
Joker's trick. Good night, everybody.
So let me get this straight. Jorge Luis Borges was the delegate from Spain, and his assistant was the Joker
Japanese,
while he was fighting Zorro. Yeah.
Killed Zorro.
Jorge Luis Borges was played by Japanese Sean Connery?
Jan. You're completely forgetting the part where the Riddler turns on the radio and goes, he's white.
He's white?
My duties keep me mostly undercover, sir.
Right.
That explains
See,
it.
in this chaos, there is order. Everything is coming back around. But we should talk about how the villains dehydrate the...
No. Not the villains. If you notice, it's Joker who takes the shot that actually dehydrates.
Alpha everything. Point. Back on the board, baby.
I'm telling you, he's an alpha. You're not listening to me. This is...
So yeah, Joker dehydrates all the ambassadors. But this is also where we find out why all the villains have to wear domino masks. It's so Catwoman is wearing a mask when she sees Batman to explain why he doesn't recognize why she's making.
No, it's very story. And okay, so can we talk about that heart-wrenching scene when Batman finds out?
We're almost there.
Well, to be fair, Troy, basically a repeat of the buoy missile thing.
Yes, correct. They do it again.
If I had to point out one problem with this movie, I kind of think that it peters out during this section until we get to the boat. Like between like the boat chase with the torpedoes and Robin firing
where they need
charges.
to make the submarine surface. It's a little bit of a redo. I will also point out that the helicopter shot is kind of funny. The shot chasing the bat speedboat, you can see the blades of the camera helicopter in the top of the frame.
Hey,
hey, that's kind of like Dark Knight, where you can see the helicopter on the building. Actually, Dark Knight, I would say, it takes a lot from specifically the first Joker appearance.
We'll get to that. But yeah, so we're on the boat, and this is where, before we get to Jan's heart-wrenching scene, this is where I feel the Joker is most humiliated. Because Penguin, Catwoman, and Riddler are at the periscope, and Joker is over by the controls with the other pirates. He's not with them.
Well, actually, another pirate gets to look into the fucking periscope at one point, and not Joker.
That's totally Alpha, though.
No, that's Omega.
Yeah, that's Sigma.
That's Sigma, yes. Pushing the torpedo button is Sigma,
just
baby.
letting everyone else do stuff for you, and you just have to push the button. That's Trump shit. That's
well, I guess in a way he just does things. He doesn't just watch. He's not a cuck like Alfred. You know?
Wait, but guys, the submarine surfaces, and this is where I think the Joker has his most humiliating moment as a 5-year-old watching this movie. In case listeners haven't noticed, I think this is the first Batman movie I ever saw. So if you'll notice in the fist fight where we finally get the biff, bam, pows, I guess they were all saving them up for the finale because it would have been annoying if it was all throughout the movie. Penguin gets punched out by Batman. Riddler gets knocked over by Batman. The Joker gets punched out by Robin.
Oh, no.
What?
Damn.
Also, Joker disappears for a good chunk of the underwater stuff until you see him
Because he's a mystery.
Well, he tries climbing up, and then you can clearly see
His
that is
final
not
trick is not being in the movie.
Well, no, he's not in the movie, and then when we see him again, it's not Cesar Romero. It's his stunt double.
It's a stunt double.
Yes, that's another thing because Cesar Romero was like what 60 in these movies, so every single fight is just like some other guy.
Well, there are a few scenes. I'll give it to, especially I think the scene where they ambush Bruce Wayne in his apartment or whatever, his living room. That's like all in a medium shot. So you see, I think everybody is themselves, but it is funny that Cesar Romero throws like one punch and then he's like, ah.
And then he turns into a stunt double and he does like a barrel roll onto a couch.
Yeah.
He's so cool.
But the fight on the submarine is incredible.
I love it.
Batman saves the cat.
Yeah, he saves the cat. He has a line. I forget what it is.
Bon voyage.
Bon voyage pussy.
Bon voyage, pussy.
And we keep cutting to the vials like teetering.
Yeah, that's the one good thing about like Robin firing the charges is that you get like the shots of the vials
teetering. They like basically go upside down and then go back up again.
You're cutting to the ticking clock. It's Hitchcockian.
Yes. And then Adam West dramatically picks them up.
Well, before that happens, we need to talk about the most emotional part of the movie where Catwoman escapes from the fighting that is happening on board.
Because she's not doing any of it. She's just going, kill him, kill him.
And then she trips and her mask falls off. and it is revealed that she is actually Miss Kitka.
Holy heartbreak!
Oh my god.
You guys remember during the screening at the Hotel Roosevelt where everyone just starts laughing when it starts playing the French song again?
I was crying.
No, well, it is very funny in the beginning. Everyone is laughing hysterically. Adam West is playing it straight, but the shot just lingers on him and the song plays out.
And it's opera. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing is the laughing slowly died.
Yeah, because everyone was genuinely saddened by it.
Well, it's hilarious and over the top at first, but they're actually playing the scene straight, and Robin is actually comforting Batman. And also, Troy, I think you might be onto this, but this is kind of like the main long-lost tragedy of Batman that's echoed in Mask of the Phantasm, where it's just like the curse of being Batman is he has to always be Batman, and there is no room for love when you're...
I'll say
so sad.
This shot makes me sadder than the end of On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Yeah.
This hits a little harder.
You may have a point.
It might be better acted.
The shot that makes me sadder than On Her Majesty's Secret Service is Batman's bull jumping up and down while he's running.
I thought it was Cesar Romero's stunt double drowning.
That also made me quite sad. But I gotta respect it because it's a Sigma move, because it's the Joker, etc.
So they go back to the United World.
Well, Commodore Schmidlab, knocks over the...
Oh, it's him that knocks it over.
In a previous scene, Penguin warns Catwoman not to sneeze.
Because they all have mothers.
And what does Commodore Schmidlab do after he knocks over the vial?
He falls and sneezes.
He sneezes, scattering the dust even more. And so Batman and Robin have to take the dust back to the Batcave into their dust realignment machine where they're like decked out with themed rubber gloves and surgical masks.
Yes.
As the presidents of the United States and the rest of the world are anxiously waiting if they have unscrambled the members of the United World.
Lyndon Johnson is on the phone being like, well, we all do believe in that Batman.
God damn it, Batman.
God damn it, Batman. My pants are big enough for your distracting bulge.
Don't bring that up again.
Do you want to go swimming, Batman?
No, enough.
Want to go skinny dipping, Batman? While we talk about Vietnam, Batman?
And then he's like, we did it, my device, expertly. And then we get the Robin like, don't you think with all that's going on in the world,
great line,
that we could seize power for ourselves?
Yeah, basically.
He's like, no, Robin.
We can remake the UN leaders in our own image if we rearrange their dust. It's kind of what he says.
No, if we rearrange their ethnic
and national makeup, yes.
I'll activate the computer link, feed in the various ethnic and national factors.
Batman, wait a minute. With the way the world is and all, don't you think maybe we ought to try to improve those factors? Kind of reshuffle them a little?
No, Robin. No. It's not for mortals like us to tamper with the laws of nature.
But one big soup of humanity, and Amos is like, no, it's not our place.
We must preserve the status quo for hope for a better future.
And so they return to the United World, and he says a solemn moment as he picks up a garden hose and screws it on to a faucet.
Yeah. And the Security Council, they reappear as they are rehydrated, and everyone cheers. But alas, they're speaking different languages. The UK guy is speaking Japanese. The Japanese guy is speaking French. The Israeli guy is speaking Spanish. The Spanish guy.
And then you're like, oh, that's why some of them were dubbed in the first scene, because...
Jan, or anyone, can we confirm, is the West German guy speaking Hebrew?
Oh, you're asking me because I'm Jewish?
Yeah.
Because I know the answer to that, and yes, he is.
Sin shalom, rock shalom.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, I mean, I like the scene. I would have liked it more if they went full You Only Live Twice and they make everyone Japanese.
Batman, the weeb solution, the world peace. Robin is like, hey, I was watching some One Piece and some Neon Genesis Evangelion. Let's just make everyone Japanese.
Why not?
And then, of course, the brilliant sign off. We may have, in fact, done the greatest gift to service to humanity anyone has ever done. Let's go, but inconspicuously through the window.
Let's go, but inconspicuously through the window.
And they look down at the road, and you just see a shot of road.
Yeah, we see a shot of the road. Just, it's not needed. But why not?
So you know where they're going.
You know where they're going.
And then in this awkward wide shot, you see two little colorful shapes slide down ropes as the credits roll.
The what is it? The ever-loving
end? No,
the
ever-living end?
Ever-living end.
With a question mark.
I think it's the end, the living end, ... question mark. And then
I am sure the Joker had something to do with those final credits.
If you're a TV tropes guy like myself, one of the tropes for this movie is bittersweet ending, because they're like, they didn't rescue Miss Kitka, and they messed up all the world leaders, and that porpoise died. What did they achieve?
It ends in failure?
Sort of Nolan-esque, you might say.
Yeah, sort of a Nolan-esque, like Batman endures, but society is still broken.
Batman endures even though he's accomplished nothing.
Well, he might have accomplished something or nothing. We won't know.
We did it.
Real quick, are there any other thoughts on, I don't know if anyone else has seen other episodes of the Cesar Romero Joker. I know there's a very famous one that I haven't watched where he challenges Batman to a surfing contest.
Yeah, he doesn't die in the show, does he?
None of them.
No.
What?
Okay, all right, just checking.
What kind of question is
Jill St. John dies in the first episode.
In the first episode, Riddler's henchwoman Jill St. John falls down the nuclear reactor in the Batcave. Actually, I think everyone who dies in the Batman 66 universe dies in the Batcave. Like, that's the only place where you can die.
It's the deadliest place in Gotham.
Two more things about the Cesar Romero Joker.
Okay.
One, in the Joker's first appearance, he has a blonde henchwoman named Queenie who speaks in a New York accent. Check that for later, listeners. Foreshadowing.
Quinn?
Why'd you say that?
Queenie from Zoe 101.
What?
Okay, go on.
Go
and
on.
My other thing. So, Batman, after the show was canceled, there would be the late 70s TV movie Legend of the Superheroes, where Batman and Robin came back, played by Adam West and Burt Ward, as part of a Justice League based out of Sylmar, California. The Riddler was Frank Gorshin, and he came back.
But there's no Joker, right?
No Joker.
Then why are we talking about that? I'm just kidding. I did watch the Legend of the Superheroes, and it feels like a live production.
I watched that too, and it's like one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen.
I love it.
That feels like a weird dreamscape. I don't think I finished it, but I was just like, it's so weird having the Justice League as like a choir, basically.
Yeah. And then they do a roast in the second episode, and you meet Ghetto Man.
Wow.
The Justice Leaguer we don't talk about.
Yeah, it has no Joker, but like his spirit lives on.
Yeah. He is like the core linchpin of this universe, even if he's not the center of this universe.
Right. It's all society pilled.
Adam West and Burt Ward did come back for the New Adventures of Batman?
Yes, the animated cartoon. They came back, and Joker is in that. I believe he tries to destroy the sun at one point. Batmite is in it. And because we'll talk about the animated Joker at a later date. He couldn't be in Super Friends because of this, but then in the last 2 seasons of Super Friends, Adam West played Batman, and the Joker finally pops up in the last season, played by Frank Welker. But the Joker also pops up in Return of the Caped Crusaders and Batman vs. Two-Face, the 66 Joker, played by Jeff Bergman. He doesn't do a lot in those 2 movies, in keeping with tradition, but at the end of Batman vs. Two-Face, there's a post-credit scene where he gets his own Harley Quinn. So Harley Quinn does exist in the Batman 66 universe. But there were also comic books written about the Batman 66 universe.
The crossover with Green Hornet written by Kevin Smith and Ralph Garman.
Yeah, there was that one. And there was also a crossover with the Linda Carter Wonder Woman, which had an issue that took place in the 70s, where it reveals that in that version of the Adam West universe, Adam West Batman retired in the 70s because the Joker broke into Wayne Manor and killed Alfred, so Batman snapped his neck.
Oh, no.
That's not Batman.
And I'm like, what? Not this Batman.
Wait, Kevin Smith wrote that?
No, this was some guy. I'll look up who committed this war crime. Mark Andreyko and Jeff Parker. If you're listening, what the hell?
The hell's the matter with you?
Stop it. Get some help. Okay, ready for final thoughts?
Yeah, let's get to final thoughts. And this time, we got to talk about it. This is the first Joker movie. Remember, everybody? We talked a lot about Batman, and Joker is maybe beta in this, but this is the first Joker movie, so we also have to...
What about The Man Who Laughs?
No.
That's Gwen...
That Patreon episode. Patreon.
What about The Joker is Wild, starring Frank Sinatra?
Not the Joker.
Okay, that's not the Joker.
What about The Four Jokers?
Yeah, none of these people are the Joker.
What about Blondie Goes to College?
Jan, would you like to start? Give your final thoughts of the movie, rate it, and Joker score.
Are we rating the hair?
I'm gonna do the hair. I'll also talk about the makeup, the mustache, the laugh,
the look.
Just the whole aura. So, this Joker, you say it's beta just because all the other Jokers have been Alpha, Sigma, and Omega. So, like, you've been spoiled, you know? Because this is absolutely an Alpha Joker. He's Cuban. He has a mustache. Laugh? Okay, so this is something we need to acknowledge. The laugh is the basic pillar, the cornerstone of every Joker. And they've all, except Jared Leto because he sucks, but they've all been doing basically a riff on Cesar Romero's laugh. So just for that, I have to give it the Joker Alpha seal of approval. The fact that he decided to keep his mustache and just like wipe the production's desire for him to shave it, you know, with his fucking bare asshole, that is also a Joker seal of approval. The fact that he just disappears from the movie and is not doing anything, that's a 10 out of 10. The makeup's pretty good. The hair is beautiful and luscious, classic, Cuban American star. What else? Just a great Joker. With the one thing I will say, it is weird that he is kind of like a bad Joker, but that's another point aside, you know? Like, he is less Jokery than the Riddler in this, and that sucks.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, I'm gonna have to give him a 9.9 out of 10. But he's still the Joker. He's great. The amount of Joker in the movie is maybe disappointing, but it's a tease for what's to come, so I don't mind it too much. The actual movie, not much to say about it. We know it's a banger. So fun, so inventive, so earnest. It captures Batman while kind of spoofing him at the same time. Love the cast. Love the gags. Love the love story. It's just a grand old time. There's pretty much nothing I dislike about this movie. So I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. Perfect movie.
Whoa. I'll try to swoop in quick here. The film is a classic, one of the great comedies of the 60s, perhaps of all time. Everything's good, except for the Joker. No, the Joker's very good. The Joker's very good, but, you know, there's room for growth. It's a beautiful entree, a wonderful appetizer. Cesar Romero he's good, he's funny, he's very scary. I'm open to the argument that it is kind of a Sigma move, but also perhaps more so that the film as a whole reflects his anarchic nature and his sense of play. I mean, the film is dedicated to fun lovers everywhere, and what is the Joker if not a fun lover?
You're right, but I've never heard anyone describe him that way.
Hey, I'm just working with the text here. His Joker it's crystallized. It's wonderful. It's where it all began. So I'm going to give him and the hair, I guess, 9 out of 10. And I guess the film is a 9 out of 10, but as a Joker film, he is still beta. Fundamentally, this is still a Catwoman and Penguin film, in my opinion. I will give it a 7 out of 10 as a Joker film.
Weak.
Very nice. You guys are all right about Cesar Romero. It's interesting how, as the Joker becomes more pronounced as the series will continue, the Joker starts out as an elderly 60-year-old and then graduates to a 50-year-old and then a 28-year-old, back to two 40-year-olds later on. So, yes, this is very much the humble beginnings of what is to come. But those beginnings show promise. Cesar Romero is still very entertaining as the Joker. He is capable of playing a non-mustache man with a mustache. So
that's range.
That takes true talent to do. I think the hair is an improvement upon his series introduction because they still couldn't quite get the wig to the color isn't right in that first episode, but like here it's a nice neon green. You don't see his hands, so it looks less strange. You know, he's constantly jokered up. He's not having like a button down shirt, so he's got it figured out and he's got energy. But yes, the elephant in the room, you guys said it before, but yes, this Joker is beta. Catwoman and Penguin are in charge, and the thing is, yeah, Riddler out-Jokers Joker by trying to steal the movie from Penguin and Catwoman. And Joker is just there to serve tea. And that's not very Joker-like.
This is so interesting to me because as a child, maybe I just really like Frank Gorshin's Riddler. I always thought he was like the leader, like he's always the one standing in the meetings. Everyone else is like crouching.
Well, he's the Joker. He's the one that like Penguin and Catwoman are obviously in charge, but Riddler is like trying to take the spotlight, and that's a Joker thing to do.
When did Joker get established as Batman's arch nemesis? Was that the 89 movie?
No, he got established as Batman's arch nemesis in Batman #1. The Riddler only made
that answers my question. Go on, Jay.
Yeah, okay. So
the Riddler made only 3 appearances before Batman 66. The Penguin was considered Batman's secondary nemesis, which led to the famous team-up in Batman #25, when Joker and Penguin teamed up for the first time. Catwoman, of course, is more of a love interest until the early 50s when it was revealed that she was an amnesiac flight attendant.
So to finish my point, a lot of the groundwork is there, but I gotta give Cesar Romero the lowest score out of the 3 spoken so far and give him an 8 out of 10. As a movie, it's a good microcosm of the TV show. A lot of people viewed the TV show first, including myself, and it's a good summary of the vibe of the TV show and the fact that it feels like 4 episodes smushed together. There's still a through line, great gags, a genuine emotional love story and tragedy at the end that works in a non-ironic sense. As a movie on its own, I'm going to give it 4.5 out of 5 as a Joker movie, just because it's not totally in the text. Leslie H. Martinson, I don't think he saw it quite as in the Joker's periphery, but maybe
he saw it out of the corner of his eye.
Right. So in that case, as a Joker movie, it's going to get a 3.5 out of 5 for me. Troy.
Yay, I get to talk about the Joker. So Cesar Romero's Joker. I respect Cesar Romero's Joker. He set up the game. On the TV show, he's a great villain in the standalone episodes. I'm happy he's in this movie. It's hard. He does the job perfectly well. He is a good Joker. He gets the job across. He laughs. The Joker's kind of a hard character to mix up. But I think he has two factors going against him. One, he is a good version of the Joker going against the three best versions of the Riddler, the Penguin, and Catwoman. Like, these other three are like, whoa. Like, Burgess, Meredith, and Frank Gorshin are like going like 112%. Frank Gorshin is bringing that manic energy. He's bringing everything we normally love about the Joker, where he's dangerous but intelligent and just firing missiles off with a smile. While Burgess Meredith is bringing a lot of detailed nuance to his performance, the waddle, the walk, the wah, 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 if you will. And this is all like, no one can top them. And Lee Meriwether's my favorite Catwoman. I think she works best as a true supervillain, which she is here. So these are all people at the top of their game up against a very good Joker who serves people tea. Now, maybe you guys are correct. Maybe the script is mainly prioritizing Catwoman and Penguin. But the fact that I walk away from this thinking it's a Riddler movie just goes to show how much an actor can bring to the text. And while Cesar Romero does a very good job, and he commits, and he's good, and I'm glad he's here, he's getting lost in the shuffle, and the Joker should never be lost in the shuffle. I think another thing that makes it harder for him to be lost in the shuffle is that Batman 66 is a world where everything is funny, but nothing is dangerous. And the whole point of the Joker is he's a funny guy who's dangerous. So he can't be one of those things, even though the Riddler kind of steals that vibe at points. He can't be dangerous. And everyone else is funny. So again, because it's all shot from the Joker's world, he's getting kind of lost in the mix. To go back to Jan's earlier point, the Joker was a big arch enemy of Batman in the 40s and early 50s when he could like kill people. In the 50s and 60s, he wasn't allowed to kill people. So he still popped up a lot, and he would do like boners. He would play with boners and like the IRS. He wasn't the same Joker, and it wasn't until the 70s that they really brought that Joker back. So because the show happened at a key point in Joker's history where he wasn't really full Joker, I kind of have to judge it by that standard. So as a performance, I give it a 7.5. Makeup, 10 out of 10. You fully notice the mustache. God love you. Hair, light green. It could be a darker green. In some stills, it looks yellow. Not great on that. 4.9 out of 10. The movie. I love this movie. This movie is a masterpiece, folks. And you know why? You could say it's because of the memes. You could say it's because it's very silly. You could say it's because it has every Batman character doing their own thing. But it is all those things. Of every Batman movie we've ever had, this is the most unapologetically Batman. This is the comic brought to life. This is everything you love about adventure fiction. As Jake said, the reversals, the betrayals, the commentary on society, the love story. It's all played for a joke, but because everyone is committed, all the emotions of this episodic structure hits you. And yes, the pacing is weird. It weirdly slows down at parts. And that's just kind of part of the rhythm of it. You go in, you go out. You're in on the haze, like you're under a mist of Joker gas. You're having a good time, and everything just feels right. And to this day, while there are better Batman movies, this is why you love superheroes in like a nutshell. And that it being ironic in its little pinky can give you more pathos than like an entire series of films. That's amazing. And that's why, even though it's no longer in my top 100, I still think this movie is a pop masterpiece that encapsulates the joy of adventure fiction. It's always been said about Adam West Batman that the kids love it because you take it seriously. The adults love it because you can laugh at it. Well, I say there's a third stage where you, as an adult, watch the movie and you're laughing at it, but you realize this is truth. This is art. This is earnestness personified. And to that I say, God love you, Adam West. Godspeed, Cesar Romero. Great job, everyone. Call me Lee Meriwether. Don't yell at me, Burt Ward. I'm giving this a 10 out of 10. It's a masterpiece. As a Joker movie, he's barely in it and he's upstaged by everyone. 5.5 out of 10.
Alrighty, that's our first trick.
We have to identify it. What was the Joker's trick in this movie?
Well, we already said it. He bailed on the movie.
Oh, you're right.
When he's not in 30 minutes of it and then it's a stunt double.
Yay!
Yes. It's either that or the mustache. He does say in the movie, a joke a day keeps the gloom away. And next week, we'll bring another joke.
And a lot more gloom in Gotham.
Is it more gloom or is it more joke?
I hope you enjoyed seeing Robin, losers. You're not going to see Robin for a year.
We'll encounter Robin at least once or twice more in this series, at least.
As a Lego.
Yeah.
But anyway, good night, everybody. See you next time, where we discuss Tim Burton's Batman.
Goodbye, Gotham City!
Where the Joker